What's good, everybody? On this episode of the Nonsensical Knowledge Podcast, we sit down and get super weird. We start out with lost civilizations like Atlantis and break down some of the origins, stories, and historical reference of such a cool place. And then we dive down the rabbit hole on various other topics. Huge shout out to Freighter Chaplin and Tommy Seymour for such an intriguing and thought-provoking conversation. Hope you guys enjoy. Peace. Welcome to this episode of Nonsensical Knowledge. I am here with Tommy Seymour and Freighter Chaplin, and we are here chilling. Got some beers, got some blunts. What's good, boys?
Hanging, man. Good to see you guys. Good to be back again
soon. Magical Monday.
Oh my god, dude!
Manic Monday.
Who planned this shit on a Monday?
I think that's God left of me here.
Yeah, collectively we fucked up.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
No, it was cool, dude. I was a little worried when Chap was gonna have to work a double, but at the same time, I was like, you know what, dude, it'd give us all day or so.
Yeah, I was ready though because I was organizing my notes and just it was nice because I had some free time today for once at work, so I should have known it was going too well.
Yeah,
something had to change.
Yeah. So for everybody listening out there, we decided that this episode we would dedicate to lost civilizations and some of their origins and get into some of the mysteries and some of the stories and
the main characters in those civilizations.
Yeah. So first up on the list though would be the Lost City of Atlantis. Tommy, why don't you tell me a little something about Atlantis? What's good, bro? What you got, kid?
All I really know.
We're just jumping right into it. We're not going
to diving in. Is the two biggest sources of information for it, which is Plato's writings and then the bit about Blavatsky and what she's written.
Tell everybody what Atlantis is first.
All right.
Just in case somebody's out there listening, they're like, what the fuck is Atlantis?
Atlantis, from what we know.
Probably living under a rock, but.
Ancient Greeks used to talk about it like it was the city of Poseidon. It was the gemstone of the world, the main shipping capital that was just off the west coast of, I think, like Portugal now. It was like out. It was definitely in the Atlantic Ocean.
Well, originally, Plato said the Pillars of Hercules, right? Which was right outside of Greece, wasn't it?
Yes.
That was that interpretation, right?
Right, but it led to it because it was named after Atlantis or Atlas.
Right.
Because, he was the one that held up the world just as that little shipping port was holding up the material world for the Greeks else. Back then. Yeah, right. Really all of ancient civilization. But
right. I think you just said it perfectly when you said all ancient civilization. I've always kind of just, I don't know, I had a mini obsession with Atlantis for a couple of years when I was younger.
Haven't we all?
Right.
But Disney's movie, dude. That thing, yeah, I love that movie.
The vacation spot, But I've always kind of felt that Atlantis was more than an island. I always kind of felt it was like a diffusion throughout the world. I felt Atlantis was the world at one time. Like if you looked at the globe, the whole thing was Atlantis. That's how far-reaching they were at the time. That's how far-reaching.
It was the hub. It was the hub for communication and trade, and that's what they did right for centuries until eventually they wanted to expand. From what I've read, at least.
Right. So basically, getting back to it. So like Atlantis was an ancient civilization that Plato had written about in his
described thoroughly.
Right. And what were the books called? What the Timaeus? The Timaeus?
There was
Timaeus and the let me see. Just so I'm not fucking it up for anybody. If anybody wants to go and look for it. No,
I just read this and I should be fresh in my mind. But
I think it's called the Timaeus or the Criterius or something like that, dude. But in any event, it was Plato's works, right? Plato's works. He described it and he was the narrator, right, of someone else that had been there, right?
I believe Solon
or Solon.
Yeah, he traveled to Egypt. But he was supposedly like really old when he went, so he couldn't document it. Excuse me. So when he came back,
he told the story.
He actually gave the story, I think, to one of Plato's students who gave it Plato, oddly enough.
Really?
I believe. I mean, that seems to be something I remember about it. But Plato wrote about it as he used some allegory to describe, the history of the world and creation, but he also never denied that he was kind of telling the truth about
that
Atlantis.
It was a physical place. It's like,
right.
But as all Greek philosophers did, like,
they romanticized shit.
Not only that, but they tried to make everything an allegory for a mental process or an archetype for some kind of goal.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which was what they at least were trying to get back to with Atlantis, was this archetype for the ideal civilization, the way it was built, the way the technology was for water, and just all of it, and that it was this grand palace for Poseidon, where they really don't have any other dedications to Poseidon anymore, like in Greeks at this time, because that was it, and what it fell and sank. Cause
all right, so before we get into like
the fall
of Atlantis, let's just step back a second and kind of explain how much more advanced Atlantis was than the rest of the world.
Well, Solon, when he went to Egypt, supposedly was told about the story of Atlantis, and it was 9,000 years old or something back then. So you figure it's at least 9,000 years older than Plato,
right?
And Solon, and
so now with that being said, though,
the origins of like the word Atlantis, it doesn't. There is no root word in like Greek or Latin or Egyptian or anything for ATL for Atlantis.
It's
so
Atlas. It comes from the god Atlas.
Yeah, they see Atlas, but that's like what we were talking about. I'm sure we'll get into it later. But like the Madrid Codex, that's the Mayans are the first place that you ever see the ATL prefix or root of a word come up is with the Mayans.
Right. So now, with that being said, also do you think the name Atlantis predates the Greek? So, like, do you think obviously there's no root word?
Or was there?
The
Mayans,
I believe.
Was there another name for it, or did they also call it Atlantis just in their own?
Well,
language?
so getting into like that, like just real quick, just breeze over it. I'm not gonna like get deep into it, but with the Mayan connection, they were basically saying that survivors of Atlantis went to became the
both
Maya.
ways.
Became the Maya.
The Egyptians, just like didn't become the Egyptians, but definitely they went to those areas and taught them, the divine mysteries that
they did what every civilization does. Once they get all the power, they figure out where someone hasn't heard of them, and they start going to preach their religion and sending priests around. And
it's weird. It's almost like history repeats itself
over and over and over.
Well, it's definitely a certain pattern that they follow, and it's a blueprint that's worked throughout history. And they go and they take, not mercenaries, they take missionaries,
right?
And it's like, okay, we're gonna go and learn you this, and
as long as you trade with us with this,
right? But I mean, if you believe in like the Atlantean legends and everything like that, they were all basically magicians, for a lack of a better word.
Right.
People believe they possessed the vril, and they were supposedly magicians. They had all these extra sensory.
This is Atlanteans, right?
Yeah,
Atlanteans,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, Atlanteans.
Right. So now you brought that funny word in there that I love so much, the vril.
Right. Yeah.
So so do we have a date on like when Atlantis existed, or like approximately did like Plato say when, or like how, maybe what time frame it existed in?
It was about 10,000 BC almost, I would imagine, or like 10 to 15,000 BC, something like that. Because I know like Plato and stuff, that was like, wasn't that like 500 BC or so?
Yeah, I think it was like 450 to 5, somewhere around there.
So yeah, so basically Plato was 1509 to 1511. Well, actually no, excuse me. That was Platonianism.
That's when they picked up his,
Sorry about that. But Plato's books were the Timaeus and the Critias.
Yeah, you're right on.
So if anybody were to check out these accounts, you can look up those two books and basically find out that, this is where he wrote them, and this is basically the one source other than the Maya, right?
And the Egyptians.
Well, the Egyptians
that's what gets
too.
Into the Hermeticism with Thoth.
Right,
because Thoth was the Atlantean.
Right.
He was, their deity that came over and represented, archaic knowledge and truth. And
so now, do you think, real quick, so basically you're saying that Thoth is the reincarnation of Hermes?
Or they're the same, and they're the one and the same.
Right.
Because that's what the whole point with the Emerald Tablets, why it was written in both Egyptian and Greek on either side, was because they were describing the same truths, and that when they combined their god Hermes with the Caduceus and all this and the knowledge of Thoth, that they were one and the same.
Right.
That
yeah, I just want to be clear for everybody listening,
Right.
because they might because from what I was reading is Hermes the thrice, right?
the thrice great.
The
Because
thrice
the three
great.
secrets of the universe that he taught.
Right,
Alchemy,
but there was
Kabbalah.
also people throughout history though that said that they were reincarnations of Hermes.
Right.
So that's why I was
anything,
asking
Hermes
if it was
came after Thoth because just of how much older ancient
Egypt is, right?
from what we know.
Well, Plato, just for everybody listening, Plato's allegedly was born in either 427 or 428 and died in 348 or 347 BC.
Okay.
So that's just for everybody
not
listening.
a bad life for someone that long ago.
Well, no, I just want to let everybody know
No.
what time period this was written.
Oh,
This is ancient. This is before Christ. For anybody that doesn't know what BC is, that's 300. He
Current
died.
era.
Yeah, right. He
Before
died.
Common Era?
Yeah.
Can't say before Christ anymore. Everyone
Yeah,
will get
what's
mad.
that common era?
Dude.
Oh, Christ. Okay.
Is that what they say now?
Well,
Is
yeah,
that
that-
BCE,
BCE.
before Common Era. It's
Oh
not
my
before
current
Christ
era.
anymore.
Where the fuck have I been?
But what's that current
Gotta
era?
get Christ
Oh,
out of everything, man.
Christianity, yeah.
Listen, I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed at all, because you know how both of you know how I feel about religion.
I'm ball breaking right now about
Yeah.
the last episode in the Jesus.
Oh my God, dude! Listen. Yeah, you'd think you were Jesus' biggest fan last episode.
I'm one of his biggest fans. I really am.
I might be too.
I don't know why you don't get that. I was serious. I mean,
Definitely the
I'm
allegorical
not saying
Christ.
you weren't serious, dude. I'm just like me personally. It's again, I try, like I said to Tommy the other day. Is I even with a lot of the stuff that I feel like I believe, I try not to fall into a trap. And so
it's hard to keep it allegorical and to not get into the actual dogmas and the stories, their hard, truth and stuff, whether it's the Abrahamic stuff or the New Testament stuff.
yeah. Well, I don't know how we segued into Jesus, but either way. So
BCE.
right.
BC.
So
well, this is great though, because we can even go back to the story of Noah, because
Right. Well, the
great flood.
the Great Flood
they
is all
think
the way
that Noah
from
might be an Atlantean,
Right,
and
and yeah.
it's just a Babylonian accord of it.
according to the Chinese and their legends of the Great Flood. That's a very, very, very similar story, all the way down to a family of 8 surviving, I believe. The
Well,
same
Noah's,
as Noah.
right?
Noah. Well, the Chinese legend of the Great Flood, I had that somewhere in my notes.
Oh, let's hear it.
I only put a little thing down, but
So, real quick, sorry, Jay, to interrupt you. I know we kind of fast forwarded real
that's
quick,
basically
but
all I had in my
backtrack.
notes anyway. Is I just had
right,
that.
we kind of fast forwarded a little bit, but for everybody listening, it's the Great Deluge, or however you want to put it, the Great Flood, which
consistent throughout history with almost every
In many
civilization.
civilizations,
and not only one, but multiple.
Right.
So there's a lot of these stories of the Great Deluge, and now
Well, there's a lot of evidence on Earth of a Great Flood too.
Absolutely.
I mean, you don't have to
For sure.
look very far. You look at the Grand Canyon, and I believe that was caused by a Great Flood. That wasn't caused by a river flowing uphill,
No.
which defies gravity. The Colorado River, I believe, where it starts is at a lower point than where it ends after it flows through the Grand
Yeah.
Canyon. So you're telling me it flowed uphill, and I mean, you got to fact check this because I haven't even looked into it
a long
forever,
time, yeah.
Well, yeah, you just
But
did
it technically
post something about
flowed uphill,
So-
and
Yeah,
that was
civilization in the
Yeah.
Grand Canyon. I didn't look into it.
Oh
yet,
my
but that
God.
looks cool.
Yo, listen.
I haven't gotten into
Tommy,
that yet, but that
and
looks cool.
anybody listening, there is I've never been there. I can't say for sure, but allegedly the Smithsonian covered up ancient fucking temples in the Grand Canyon, dude.
yeah.
I gotta look into that.
Why would
that's,
they do
that's
that?
crazy.
Right.
That's some shit I haven't heard. And I'm
Yeah,
looking
and-
into
It's not
it.
like people
Tom,
going and
Yo, ancient Egyptian temples inside the Grand
Well, they gotta
Canyon.
be old
Now,
as
what
shit
they
if they're
said
there.
was basically this guy was floating down the fucking river, some scientist or whoever he was, explorer, and looked up and seen a cave, and somehow got up into the cave, dude, and allegedly found this shit, and then brought it to the Smithsonian, said, yo, look, this is a
Wait,
huge
you
thing.
can't change our
it doesn't
history
fit the
right now.
narrative.
Yeah,
Doesn't
you,
fit the
you
narrative.
can't change our history right now. We were here first.
Exactly.
Or at least the Spanish were. But
Right.
then you find out about the Vikings and Templars and stuff that might have been up in Canada and Nova Scotia.
Oh, yeah.
long
Well, they were
ago.
there, for sure.
Right.
They were there.
Or
definitely.
just plain and simple, the people that were here
Indigenous. Oh, yeah.
when they
Sure.
got here.
I
There were
know.
already people here.
the fucking people that actually own this
Very
place.
complex system of living, and we're taught in our school system at least that they were basically tribal. It's funny. I was laying in bed looking at my wounds yesterday, and I threw on an old sporting event that was on ESPN on demand, and they're going, it's like from 94, and they're cutting away, and they're showing the outside of the arena, and they're like, this is so-and-so Collins Arena, and it's named after, the guy who defended Fort Collins, and he died valiantly defending the fort from, he died valiantly defending a fort from Native Americans. I'm like, how insane does that sound? Like, he died. He's a brave American who died saving a fort from Native Americans.
So he was a thief that got killed.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like we're taught to just believe that they're like, oh, these tribal people that like
they
no
weren't
man.
savages, but at the same time, it's like back then and stuff, and like the whole world was shaped by warfare and conquering people.
Well, not here. The Native Americans weren't.
They kind of.
There were. I mean that
they warred with each other.
Very rarely. Very few tribes.
Well,
very few tribes.
It was disputes over territory. That's really mostly what it was. Like, I mean, there's accounts, bro, where like there's
right.
Yeah, I mean,
and archaeological digs of like tribes and stuff that had
whose accounts.
Well, listen, I agree. I 100% agree.
I don't see a lot of Native American sources. I mean, there were some tribes, but that was as far as everything that I've basically seen, and maybe it's just where I've chose to go with my path, but. The Native Americans seem to not really have tribal warfare or any worry about anything until the white man arrived.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's when they started teaming them up against each other.
Them to like go to war with each other in certain aspects.
Well, yeah,
promising them this and that.
Well, how else would you win a war? You're not gonna beat them on their own. Like, I mean, we have guns and blah 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 blah. But listen, Indians were
they were in tune with everything. They'd never seen a horse before, and then I believe the Spaniards brought horses, and before you knew it, Native Americans were riding on the horse backwards, plucking people off with a bow and arrow, that had guns. I mean, they just special group of people. They were really in tune. I mean, they So with the earth, with each other, with just consciousness,
dude. Everything. They were tied in, bro. They were tied into Mother Nature. Let's be real here. That's exactly what the fuck they're tied into, and like you said, consciousness. But getting back to Atlantis, and so we kind of segued a little bit there, which I love to do. So getting back into it. So now let's go through some historical accounts of Atlantis. So obviously there was Plato's, right? So there was Plato. So Plato said Solon goes to Atlantis. He experiences all these things, right? He says, what's that?
No, he said. I'm just saying he went to Egypt.
Solon went to Egypt.
He went to Atlantis.
Oh, so Solon went to Egypt.
Yeah, right. He went to Egypt, and he went to the Temple of Sai, I believe, it was something like that. The Temple of Sai, S-A-I-S, I think it is. Something like that. And he supposedly met a priest there, an old Egyptian type priest, for lack of a better word, and was given the account of Atlantis and the whole story of what happened 9,000 years before. He brought it back, and Plato kind of ran with it. I guess from everything I've read, he was kind of too old to document it and write it himself, so Plato took over.
All right, so this says Solon, who lived from 630 to 560 before Common Era, was an Athenian statesman, lawmaker, and poet. He is remembered particularly for his efforts to legislate against political, economic, and moral decline in archaic Athens. His reforms failed in short term, yet he is often credited with having laid the foundations of Athenian democracy. Let's see if there's anything in here with references to aftermath of Solon's reforms. Yeah, so so he goes to Egypt, right? He learns what's going on over there. So he learns how to is he told the story from an Egyptian priest?
It's definitely that they use Atlantis, probably, like, this is assumption at this point, but they had to have had Thoth tied in at some point because it's the Atlantean, and Thoth would teach them, brought the science with them about vibration and, basically like the first like Hermetic principles,
right?
It's tough to, like, I'm going to keep flopping back and forth with
Hermeticism
and Thoth and Chematology because they're one and the same.
Well, get after it, dude. And a lot of these, just real quick for anybody listening, explain to them just an overview of what Hermeticism is, just so, because like we keep saying it and we know what the fuck it is, but these
Hermeticism and Chematology. Hermeticism is the Greek, and Chematology would be the Egyptian side. We're basically one and the same as far as
weren't they also Roman, Mercury in Rome or something like that.
Right,
too.
which came eventually would come later, yes.
So, and then also, not to cut you off, but Hermes also
became a Roman god, too.
But even Christians, certain sects of Christians these days believe that Hermes foretold the story of Jesus coming and the Holy Trinity and the three.
Well, the Greek Orthodox.
Right,
sure.
right.
And but anyway, so you got Kemetology and you got Hermeticism. Both said to be brought forward by this man wanderer, whether it be Thoth, which a lot of people say is also an anagram for thought.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like just the original thought. You know, like to think on the thought. Like
so
that's where these mystery schools come from. Is us as humans thinking on the thought.
Well, at some point we had to start somewhere.
Right. And so like Hermeticism takes a lot from Kemetology as far as like their 3 secrets to the universe, which is, you know, that's why they call him Hermes thrice great, because he had, or Trismegistus, because he has these 3 secrets, which would be alchemy, Kabbalah, and theurgy is the third one, which isn't as widely known, but that's like what even we do as far as combining Kabbalah and alchemy with certain times with star patterns and stuff to have the best ritualistic experience you can.
Well, you're trying to manifest it.
Right.
You're trying to manifest
by harnessing, you know, their principles of like, now the Hermeticism, they have the Kabbalion, which is the book supposedly by the 3 initiates of Hermes, which talks about the principles of vibration, the principles of as above, so below, the principles of alchemy, and just bringing the gross to, you know, I guess gold, you know, bringing the making the light from the gross through mental processes and changing your vibration.
Right. So raising your vibrations and and they're practices of the ancient mystery schools that are basically in tune with the universe.
Right. And which is the same exact thing with Kemetology, except Kemetology had a way more, I would say, intricate breakdown into like Egyptology.
Right. So now, just real quick, a quick question, because I don't know. Now, did Solon, he brought this back to Greece, right? Like he brought.
It seems like it's like
Hermeticism back.
Maybe we need to look into the Emerald Tablet, but that was really like the defining point where the 2 cultures came together to write on one slab in both Greek and Egyptian these Hermetic principles.
Now, do you think this was the point that these 2 different worlds came together, or do you think that the Greeks?
This was definitely pre-Alexandria. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
so they hadn't been to Egypt yet.
They had already been trading and stuff with Egypt,
right?
Like back and forth before Alexander even, and Alexander was Roman, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That was way before like the Library of Alexandria. But this might have actually come out of their recombination too. It's like the timeline's a little off as far as like Hermeticism and Kemetology,
right?
You know, but I don't think he's got the Emerald Tablet up now. But
nice, yeah. Like I mean, I've been looking at the Emerald Tablets a lot lately, obviously in preparation for this one, and it's for anybody listening. There is the Emerald Tablets. Do you remember?
Sorry, I just got caught up. I didn't realize that. Like,
so while you have it up, Jay, why don't you? When was it discovered? Does it say?
I hate to be on Wikipedia, but that was
whatever, dude. If it's got dates, it's got to be close.
First known appearance is in a book written in Arabic between 6th and 8th centuries. The text was first translated into Latin in the 12th century, but they don't have a citation for it, so I don't.
So this is after Constantine,
right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
I just want to just for reference for anybody.
It's nice though when they have a source, you know what I mean, or they cite it. But this is definitely
dude, Wikipedia is so fucking bullshit.
Yeah, but if it's something that's like cited, and
you ever been on one of the ones where you can edit the shit?
Oh, you can make yourself an editor.
It's crazy to me that it's like
I've done it before.
Well, I'm sure. It's weird to me because it's like, you know, you'd think. Obviously, Wikipedia.
There's a local politician who claims that he coined the phrase "drain the swamp," so I made sure I put it on his Wikipedia page for him.
Did you? Oh, you're the man, dude. That's awesome.
So, hey, you want to drain the swamp? Go ahead.
Here you go, Pally. Yeah. No, but that's it. I just wanted to have a little reference of when they had discovered it.
The
You know what I mean?
combination of
Has there
them,
been any
yeah.
carbon dating done to that thing?
I have no idea. It's like I am so I should have come more prepared with it. 'Cause
Well,
I'm not sure,
listen,
but
I'm
I never-
asking
I
myself
never,
because
ever-
I have no idea. So like,
I
I'm
personally never.
I'm not
buy
trying to put
into
you guys on
carbon
the
dating.
spot. I'm not saying
I have
You-
little faith in carbon dating. Or any of that.
listen. I am along those same lines, but for most people, for like the general consensus of people who still kind of believe in the system, carbon dating is their or not so much their anything, but at the same time, it's a reference point, I guess, for when they think it was
radioactive
discovered
decay
or
is
created.
pretty constant.
I mean, you
It's-
can if you go look up articles right now, you'll have so many. You could be here for days reading them. I mean, literally, they've taken a seal that died 6 hours before and carbon dated it to 200,000 years old. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, okay. So it's that fishy.
and also carbon has never been. It's changing. There's more. There used to be more oxygen on Earth and less carbon, and throughout the centuries and thousands of years,
So now it's different.
yeah,
right?
eventually it's going to come to like a balance. So there's been less carbon. It's just such an inconsistent science to me that, I mean, literally you can look up thousands of articles. I mean, from National Geographic to whatever source you want, you'll find something that will show you really that carbon dating is kind of, in my opinion, bullshit.
Right. Well, that's good to know, man, because I didn't know that, to be honest. And I mean, for anybody,
Hey, I'm definitely in the minority when it comes to not believing the science behind carbon dating. I'll be the first to admit that. I've had a lot of people.
The thing
tell
about
me I'm
that
out of
is,
my
though,
fucking mind, but
the thing about that is, though, man, is we're still subscribing to a system that it was built long before us, and it has edited what it doesn't want and has included things that it does.
well, I
And
think
so-
it plays into, and this will bring us way off topic, so I'll just say the point. But I think that the science behind carbon dating is something that they can use to verify their science to make us feel so finite. Like we kind of talked
Right.
about that a little bit before, where you're just in the grand scheme of this Earth, you're just
nothing.
a little speck of sand.
You're an ant
Like, no, you're not. You're an infinite
being.
yeah, like, and you're only here 80 years out of 200 billion, whatever,
Yeah.
however you want to put it.
Infinite. Infinity.
Yeah, and then you can just start confusing people with big numbers and.
Yeah. No, it's true.
But the carbon dating stuff, that if you go look up things on carbon dating, you'll find it from very, very mainstream sources.
No doubt. All right.
Errors in carbon dating.
All right. So duly noted. Is there an idea of when the Emerald Tablet was written, like when it was created? You get what I'm saying?
What I saw there was, I mean, the first.
Who was it
discoverer-
written by?
You were just.
the
All right,
initiates, you know what I mean?
I was gonna say,
All right. So
Tom was just kind of talking about it. Went
Go
off
ahead.
on a tangent, but
Yeah, it is what it is, man. I'm gonna look it up right now and see what we got. See Emerald Tablet. I would love to see it. All right, so let's see the Emerald Tablet. Now, of course, I'm gonna have to go to Wikipedia also because there aren't many sources.
well, were we talking about the dragon and all that stuff before?
Before,
we
yeah.
got well, all right. Well, because I was just kind of looked down on my notes and we did mention the Madrid Codex, and it actually has a different name, but I think they just call it the Madrid Codex now because it's in a museum in Madrid in Spain, and it's one of.
Well, that's what they actually found it originally, I guess. Like one of the some Spanish explorer, or maybe a relative of an explorer, like back in the
Right. Okay.
1860s.
Yeah.
Like back in the 1860s, just had it like in his house or something like that.
Yeah,
but it
how
was Mayan.
fucking crazy is
Right,
that?
and there's an arguably
Well, yeah,
a fourth
'cause their
one,
family
but
freaking stole everything.
Oh, yeah,
They
yeah.
brought back what they could.
but they it was just kind of, I put it in my notes that the picture of
So
them describing the great.
It says
Del-
Hermes wrote it.
Yeah, that
And Toth, yeah,
It
it's
says
saying
the
that
text-
they're the
yeah,
writers
it
back
says the text
36,000 years BC.
Of the Samargadine tablet, which is also the Emerald Tablet, gives its author as Hermes Trismegistus. Hermes the thrice greatest.
All right,
I-
so but it's not even a physical document. Apparently, that's what I'm getting.
What's
is
that?
The actual Emerald Tablet, like as far as like
no, it's a
anybody knows.
tablet.
but that
Right.
nobody's ever actually seen or touched. It's just something that Hermeticists or the priests of Thoth say just exists.
So they didn't find it? I thought they found
but
an emerald tablet.
it was described though as like
me.
a stone that was written in both Egyptian and Greece and described these Hermetic principles.
So what the fuck? How does Newton have a translation?
Because he translated the probably the Kabbalion.
Yeah, to say he translated what was translated by the people before him. So
it was actually a very famous thing to do for most alchemists is to read like as many interpretations of the Kabbalion as possible.
And alchemists would write their stuff in a way that only other alchemists could
read.
understand it. So it's
like,
like,
read it.
Well, I mean, it's like even comics will do the same thing though these days, where it's like they'll take a joke and then everybody will do like the same joke, like that one, like the aristocrats or whatever.
The aristocrats.
But they'll all do their own spin on it, so it has their own flavor and like what they kind of think. That's what they love doing with the emerald tablets. Like even Blavatsky, she has her own interpretation. Crowley had his own interpretation. Francis Bacon had his own interpretation. Bohm. Jacob Bohm, I think was his name. He was like a German alchemist and stuff around the same time of Newton. He had his own interpretations of it.
Yeah, so
it was just like a thing for them to do, not really like an open Magnus or whatever, but like just a way for them to exercise their understanding of the tablet.
Okay. Yeah, all right. So I just learned something new too. Because I had honestly thought that they had found it. Like fuck me, dude. Everything I was reading, I kind of see, like I'm like seeing emerald tablets and shit, and I'm like,
no,
guys, don't fall into the hype. But
it's still another account of.
Well, I'm gonna read
Atlantis.
Newton's translation.
Yeah,
I'm gonna read Newton's translation. A translation by Isaac Newton is found among the alchemical papers that are currently housed in King College's library, Cambridge University. As it goes, it says, "'Tis true, without lying, certain and most true, that which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below, to do the miracle of one only thing. And as all things have been and arose from one by the mediation of one, so all things have their birth from this one thing by adaptation. The sun is its father, the moon its mother, the wind hath carried in its belly, the earth is its nurse. The father of all perfection in the whole world is here. Its force or power is entire if it be converted into earth. Separate thou the earth from the fire, the subtle from the gross, sweetly with great industry. It ascends from the earth to the heaven, and again it descends to the earth, and receives the force of things superior and inferior. By this means you shall have the glory of the whole world, and thereby all obscurity shall fly from you. Its force is above all force, for it vanquishes every subtle thing and penetrates every solid. So was the world created. From this are and do come admirable adaptations, whereof the means is here in this. Hence I am called Hermes, Trice, having the three parts of the philosophy of the whole world. That which I have said of the operation of the sun is accomplished and ended." So that's Newton's translation.
Yep. I mean, and all he just did was to describe the process of making the Philosopher's Stone, whether it be a physical rendition, like an
real
actual
thing,
alchemical process,
or allegorical,
allegorical for a mental process, or both, as above, so below. That's why many of the alchemists were able to perform exact experiments based on these writings as well, because you had to do one and the same. You couldn't produce lead from gold without having the mental state of someone that's taken the gross from But now let me keep going. When it talks about ascending and descending and stuff, this, like, I know we have Agartha to get into.
We'll get
that's
there
what a
eventually.
lot of these, I guess, civilizations or poems were kind of written in the same context, where whether they were real places or not, just like Atlantis, they use that archetypal description as a way to, like, to push us hopefully further into the future too, like how we should be basing our.
And I think that what you said, you made a great point on different topics without even trying, but where you talked about the
That's
archetypal.
why I love you guys. That's why I love you guys. Double entendres.
Well, it's true. I mean, you
as above, so below.
And it shows how we get put in boxes and pigeonholed and all that because if you're a Christian and you believe in the Great Flood and Noah and this and that, you're automatically lumped into this box these days and this and that. But like you said, all these stories from all these different religions, excuse me, they are not loosely connected. It's the
Very
same
close.
story, but just the different cast and characters,
which is why it's
close.
and maybe a different time, and maybe it was.
Which is why I hope we can get into Jung sometime, because he was also an alchemist that also had his own open magnetism and everything, his own interpretation of the Emerald Tablet, but like his work on analytical psychology and archetypal mythology is huge.
I was listening to a lot of Manly P. Hall too.
Same thing. And it's like he got it too, where like he even says it in his description. Like, sorry, Jack. He even talks about it how like we might not actually know if Atlantis was really real or not, but we can tell that this is an archetypal description too of what he thinks the perfected civilization could and should be as well.
And that's like you brought up Manly, and that's kind of he helped shape my whole thought on Atlantis when I said earlier, that I don't think Atlantis was necessary. I mean, maybe that was the hub, maybe that was the center, maybe that was the capital, an island in the Atlantic off of Portugal or whatever, but I believe Atlantis was like the world. It was a concept. It was a thought, not a thought, but it was a concept. It was put into practice. It was the whole world at one time until they
fell. Well, because
Plato
to start even went into the fall of man because of their selfish
and we
needs.
talked about Poseidon, and Poseidon was warned about going to war and this and that.
Or even in the Christian version, what was it in the book of Isaiah? I think where they talk about Hellel and how he hath fallen to lay waste to the cities or whatever. But when you see that in a Kabbalistic like sense, where and you talk about Lucifer, which is also phosphorus in Greek or whatever, where that light went from the heaven and fell down to earth, like the process of thought in man just going from the crown,
kind of like coming from space.
Well, or like the opposite of the Kundalini, where you are starting now at the crown in heaven and falling down to Yasad, where the most base, animalistic feelings are kept, and that is what
primal shit.
Well, it could just be the stars, for all we know, that they just eventually, in those time periods where everything turns red. You know what I mean? Where we're more primal, we're more, agitated.
And Hermeticism taught like the duality. They taught like as above, so below.
Universal.
Right. They taught there were dual gods. There was a god of the stars and the universe, and then there was a god of Earth. Which you were literally made of God. You were part of God, not made from God, or by God. Like, I made you.
Weren't separate from it.
Yeah, I made you. Here, you're
a separate.
Have fun for 75 years. Right. Like, no, you're part of me.
Well, and you're here. Well, that's consciousness in a sense too, though, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, if you look at it like that, in that sense, we're all consciousness.
Well, universe, just one spoken utterance,
single sentence.
Yeah, just uttered into the universe.
One
everything
verse
else was
sentence
born out of that.
Yeah.
Single sentence.
Yeah.
And that's, this is like another tangent, but we kind of talked about it the last time, and that's why, it goes off of my little thing on carbon dating, but I'm more of a young Earth, for lack of a better word.
You're a creationist? There it is. So, I was waiting for you to say it. It's all right. I still love it.
Yeah. I'm more of. I'm not one of those guys that adds up the dates in the Bible and says we're 6,800 years old or whatever. But I shouldn't say young Earth. Civilization. I believe creation and civilization is much newer than millions, billions, hundreds of thousands. I don't believe it. Nothing's ever brought me to that point or down that path where I believe it.
Links between us and primates, and I will give you that like there was some huge
I'm not
event
sure
that
if
we are missing.
I'm not sure if I subscribe.
Yeah, and it's way more than like, hey, there's monkeys now. Why aren't they making human? No, like
right.
And then you get all these crazy. Oh, well, we share 98% of the same DNA as a mouse. Well, like one strand of DNA holds more information than 1,000 library Alexandrias. Yeah. So like one. I'm just made that number up.
You know
what I mean?
I've flirted the
like,
idea that like
we're not
were
very
here and
close to a
always
mouse, dude. Like, stop trying to dehumanize me.
Yeah.
I don't care how much. Because we have a lot of the same shit. Like, I look at a mouse, we have ears, eyes, hair,
mammals,
all the
legs,
same shit.
We're mammals,
all
like,
that shit. But I am not a mouse.
we have more in common with dolphins than mice, but like,
right. Oh yeah.
I mean, they're smarter than us, technically. Apparently, they have more lobe action at least.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, I think I don't know if I sent it to you guys or
You sent it to
it's
me.
going way far off of
You
the
sent me
woman
dolphin
the
shit?
woman who fell in love with the dolphin. She
yeah,
was
you sent that to
they had
me.
like a
asshole.
relationship. The dolphin pimped her, man. Basically.
Yo, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This dolphin was.
You sent me that, the headline. I didn't even watch it because I knew the headline said, woman falls in love with dolphin and is like life mates.
Yeah,
or
it was,
some shit.
I mean, that was a big story for a little while.
But I mean, if we're talking on a level of consciousness, there's a lot of times where
I don't
you
care
love
how conscious
somebody
I
or-
get. I am not fucking a dolphin.
not even, come on, bro.
Just saying.
Oh, that dolphin said to
that
you,
dolphin was conscious. He was woke.
Yo,
If it went all,
you know,
were like,
dolphin. Yo, you know, dolphin rape is a real thing, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Like people get fucking raped by
Yeah,
dolphins.
I've seen the videos. Like,
multiple times.
that's
They-
what you
they
get when
love
you
it.
put them in a little tank. Fuck you.
I think
Jump right up out of that water and
Fuck
rape
you.
someone.
Literally.
It's the only time I support rape is if an animal's doing it to a human that enslaved them.
Yeah, word, right? Oh, so if I go home and my dog rapes me, you're gonna be okay with it?
She wouldn't.
No, she wouldn't.
Dude, that dog is free to go. If it comes to that, like,
yeah.
Right. Well, it's funny that bestiality and all that because Blavatsky talked a lot about that with the Lemurians, who I know we'll talk about maybe a little bit if we get to it. But
If we get to it.
that was just us. We're really good with the comedy, so that was a segue to Blavatsky talking about bestiality and Lemurians, practicing bestiality.
yeah. See, I mean, it's like I
creating-
love her and Crowley's work, but man, it's like they were.
They're fucking out there.
Well, she
Out there, bro.
That's
Crowley-
what happens when you don't have TVs and stuff, man. Like, imagine our type.
Well,
back
no,
then.
man.
Like,
Did
you know what I
she
mean?
have-
They'd probably be
Blavatsky for she to me, like as far out and everything as it is, what she did and what she accomplished at the time that she did it is one of the most
I'm not
amazing.
discrediting
You
her
know,
at all.
no, I'm not saying
Just
it,
because she's a fucking weirdo.
but
doesn't
you
mean
know what
she's
I
a
mean. Like
genius.
in the 1880s, a woman
oh, for sure.
traveling to Tibet and writing these, books that are still
Sought after.
like looked upon as. We're talking about her now. We're going to be talking about her later. Crowley, she created Theosophy, the OTO. Crowley.
Oh yeah, Ordo
I mean,
Templi Antiqui.
Yeah, the OTO is Crowley's, evolution of
Thelmic
Theosophy.
Thelmic birth child.
Hitler, for some reason, slept with a copy of Secret Doctrine on his nightstand supposedly every night.
He was super into the cult, bro.
Oh yeah.
Well, he
Super.
believed in the
Hard heaven.
in the root races and all that. But he bought so far into it, like he didn't get that. And I'd never really got into that
he's
too
the one
much.
that believed in the Phelum and like the blonde hair, blue
All
eyes.
right,
Right, right.
So he's not the first one nor the last one to say that they were contacted by a Nordic race of extraterrestrials that were blonde haired.
Credo Mutwa. We talked
blue-
about him last time.
Exactly.
Last shaman.
And he was probably in that way predates Nazi Germany. You know what I mean? So like when you look at it like that,
Well, what? Credo died this year, and I think he was in his like mid-90s. So if you do the math, say 2020, go back 100 years in 1920. So he was probably a teenager when World War II was going on, at least. So
but the story.
Well, no, obviously everything was
was-
passed on to him.
Yeah.
way before.
The story
been
was
passed on
super
before that,
old
but
because he said it. He said in his
it's
account
been passed
that
down forever. He painted pictures.
Yeah.
At all.
well, you remember his necklace and his
yeah.
fucking
The alien
this guy had
UFO.
this guy. You have to look him up, dude. He's really really intriguing. He Credo Mutwa. He was the last shaman of the Zulu tribe. That like the very last. The
language died with
The
him.
language died with him. The information died. Like, I'm sure there's people down there still doing their thing, but he was the last guy, dude. That was like that told the story, and their story, bro, was that an extraterrestrial race of white people, blonde hair, blue eyed, 7 foot tall, Nordic white people, came down, gave them information, gave them technology, gave them whatever the fuck they gave them, then left. And then, right. Well, check this out. So here's where it fucked them up, though. When the British came, they thought this was their guys coming back. They thought that this was their friends, the Nordics, coming back, and instead they came back and enslaved them. They didn't enslave them.
Well, there was always
the British did.
I never got too far into it, but I remember even like 5th or 6th grade taking the Ripley's Believe It or Not book out of the library in school, and they're talking about when Columbus came to America, and this wasn't. I know this for a fact because I took that book out like 5 times. I always wanted to read it, but they were talking about that when Columbus arrived, there was a member of that was able to speak like broken English to him.
Yeah,
he was greeted.
Yeah,
welcomed.
Well,
enslaved people, but he was welcomed here.
The Hopi Indians said the same exact shit. The Hopi Indians, bro, I can't remember where they're located. I think it's down south, Arizona, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're like out that way. I think New Mexico, Arizona, somewhere.
Like southwest. And
sounds about right.
The Hopi Indians said the exact same story, bro. Like literally the exact same story as Credo Mutwa. Like, right. This is they have a steel I-beam, bro. I don't know if you guys have seen this shit or not. Oh my God, you gotta Google it, bro. There's a video of their fucking chief of the Hopi Indians showing off this I-beam, right? And it's like they said that it was a gift to them from whoever that came from the stars, and it has almost Greek glyphs on it, bro. Yo, I'll Google that shit on your, because Tommy will probably be able to see it on yours. But Hopi Indians Greek I-beam, it's it's a little allegedly a legit thing, but they said the same story, bro. That these people came and who knows, gave them that information, bro. And
so it like begs the question of if like throughout all the history, how did all of a sudden all these cultures and share the same histories, and now it's turned into like mythology. Now it's a myth, those are myths.
Well,
same architecture,
but it's like
same fucking everything, dude.
But it's because we started using mythology and not mythos,
right?
Well, the term mythos is where now you're taking all of them and seeing them as stories explaining the same process, just in different languages.
Did you guys see that thing I posted on the Nonsensical Knowledge page? The war against pseudo-archaeology. It's like it's essentially.
I'm not sure. I don't think I caught that one.
Yeah, Jay, it's a really good article, bro, because it makes the case for pseudo-archaeology and pseudoscience and everything else, and how everybody fucking just shits on it. It's like you shit on these theories. And science is supposed to be one of those things where it's like, all right, if we have a theory that's a legitimate theory, we have to test that theory. And a lot of the times they say, well, fuck it, this ain't worth our time. But we got way off. But either way, where the fuck?
It kind of all ties together.
We got back.
No,
in
it does.
Area. It's like
it all ties. We're in lost civilizations, bro. We're in like ancient lost civilizations. So, like, yeah, Lemuria.
But we're just giving an example. We were kind of giving examples of how
information travel.
Yeah,
Lemuria
was what, supposedly 20,000 years ago
way
or
longer
something?
than that, bro. You're talking almost.
It was older than Atlantis.
It was 100,000 years ago.
Right. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. And
they said the world was still changing geographically as
Lemuria. Well,
was
that's
at its
brother
at
Thomas
its
here brought up a good point earlier, where he said that it was kind of a thing before we learned about the plate tectonics and this and that, but then that also. That's the world we're living in now, where it's like confusion and disinformation and like.
But that doesn't mean the land and the civilization didn't exist either.
Right. So my point, what I was going to say is because he brought that up about the plate tectonics. You brought up about how they found a continent there under the sea, supposedly. In the Indian Ocean, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm going to look.
My thing is like to put the information's out there for both sides, and I'm Same thing with me. Listen to what I said about the carbon dating earlier. Like, that fits my narrative. Not necessarily that's what I believe, but...
This is exactly why we're here,
though. It's easy to find.
Because this is shit that is questionable. And there are...
Oh, it all is.
There's stuff that, like you said, Jay, has two sides of a fucking argument. And two sides of science that wholeheartedly believe this shit. Lemuria gained steam, bro, in like the 1800s, and a lot of people believe in that shit.
Because of Blavatsky.
Until until plate tectonics and all this other shit, which we're told to subscribe to. Have you ever seen a fucking continent move? I haven't. Granted, I'm not a scientist. I don't watch fucking I don't watch plate tectonics, but at the same time,
we're technically moving an inch like a year or some shit like that.
If that, you know. And it's totally possible that we were Pangea at one point, and all of these continents were connected. But I don't know. It begs the question to me again. I'm going to say this probably every fucking episode I do. We are only limited to the information that is given to us,
and our 5 senses,
maybe
6.
Yeah. But for real. So like even the information that we pulled up today, or leading up to this episode, is information that we're allowed to have. Like, we're allowed to have it because it's accessible to us.
We might as well talk about it while we have it.
Right.
I got
right.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Well, and even getting into what the three of us wholeheartedly agree on, like with our DMT experiences, that there is some pervasive, infinite being, whatever you want to call it, that is just I feel like at least all physical things are trying to like manifest towards, and however they grow. You know what I mean? It's like whether it's their DNA or like it's just that pervasive sound that we might not be able to hear, but that pushes all things kind of grow. Whether it's crystals, plants,
Well, yeah. I mean, if you want to believe,
it's force, bro. It's nature.
Well, even the mainstream science, they cellular memory, generational memory, like that stuff.
It aligns with that truth. You know what I mean? And with that said, we're just debating on how exactly the planet did grow around that universality. You know what I mean? Which is fine with me. Like it's like there's some like spheres and stuff like that, and tough to break it down, but it has a lot to do with cities and stuff. Because
they grinder action there for anyone.
Let's be real basic about it. Pyramids.
No,
look me up.
We want to talk about similarities. At least all the ruins that we have left. Pyramids.
Right.
You know what I mean? Well, where did that come from? The ancient sciences that we're talking about.
And we were just kind of, I don't know. See, this is why we should have just started talking when we got on the mic.
I saved it, dude. I could probably tie it in, but
well, I mean, I lost my train of thought.
We're talking about pyramids.
Well, yeah. So we were kind of talking about that. I think when we were when he was setting up, we were kind of talking about that, and it's like I said, these civilizations, these cultures were building these huge pyramids out of nothing in the middle of the desert, and we don't even know how they got
in the middle of the jungle,
or the middle of the jungle, or it. The Mayans, like the Incas, like how many people were there in those civilizations, and they just vanish. But so you can build these temples, you can build these pyramids. Dude, humans are just naturally
the rainforest.
Well, humans are just naturally curious, right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
You know how it is. Like, oh, don't touch. You tell a kid, don't touch the burner. You're gonna touch that fucking burner to burn yourself before you learn. And you're gonna tell me that like these people who were building these giant pyramids and stone sculptures and shit, like even like around the world, Easter Island, this and that. They got to the ocean and just said, "Whoa, guys, we're not going to figure out a way to navigate this.
We're done."
No, they're going to get there and be like, "Whoa, let's go. Let's explore."
Another frontier.
Okay, we sunk on the first wave. Now we made it to the 10th. Now we made it out here. They didn't come back.
Yeah, for real.
But
well, they said the ancient Phoenicians too were.
How many people die? How many people die each year just climbing Mount Everest?
Oh,
and if you die at a certain point on Mount Everest,
they can't get you.
You can't even stop to help that person. If you see someone dying at a certain elevation, you can't help them. They tell you just walk by them, because if you stop to help them, you're gonna die.
Right. You only have enough.
Right. So you gotta just go. And how many people a year now go do that, knowing that chance to die?
Well, now it's basically become a landfill because of all the
right. What they got, like the green boot guy or whatever. He's still got like the 1992 ski boots on.
Yep.
Yeah, there's
hiding under a cage or a cave.
Yeah. So getting back to the lost civilization stuff with everything, do you guys subscribe to the idea that Atlantis was a real place?
I think it's yes, I do. I do. It's like, but now it's like I want to get into a Garth. That no, I know. It's like we're getting into much. I know.
So all right.
I'm saying just dead on no and looking you in the eyes.
So like I said,
I know you got your heart wrapped up in that.
Well, not really, Tommy. Sorry, Jay, to cut you off. Not really. I just want to be clear real quick. I am never tied to one idea. Okay, now it might seem I'm a little more enthusiastic about one than others because it just intrigues me a little bit more. But Agartha, bro, one of the most super
Those were the giants, right?
No, Agartha is Inner Earth.
Inner Earth, yeah.
So,
the other ones are the giants.
Let me tell you something, and you can go back and listen to the Inner Earth one. Dude, our most decorated person ever in United States military history, like the most stand-up dude across the board from around the world, like, you know what I mean? Like, anybody that ever said anything about this dude said he was a stand-up motherfucker. Like, he didn't lie. He kept a detailed account of fucking everything. Richard Admiral Byrd said he was there. He said his fucking plane and his pilot were abducted by a beam over the North Pole. Not even the South Pole. The North Pole. Yeah. And he was taken in to this.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Right. But now, it's like, I could even get down with that, the sci-fi nerd in me. But, was it actually under our crust, or was it some interdimensional shift?
All right, so
good
Tom,
point.
listen,
that's a good point he brought up, though.
It's a great point, and because who knows, it could be like Bermuda Triangle.
Like at that
shit.
point, he's already tractor beaming him in.
My problem with the Admiral Byrd stuff is I don't necessarily. I'm not necessarily going to discount Inner Earth and all of that, but my thing was like, and believe me, as far as information goes, he's as reputable as you could get, and as far as looking for like a source, what else could you ask for? But the timing, like North Pole at that time was the North Pole. It was cold, plains, this and that. But why is he? Why
he was one of the very first explorers?
No, I know. But
when you hear the description of Agartha, though, from even more ancient times, and it talks about how there's sun there 24/7.
All right, so
so now
right.
when you talk about the Arctic Circle, there's many times a year. Well, okay, not many times a year, but
a couple months or something.
Exactly,
yeah.
where you have day almost
constant sunlight
24/7.
No, you do. There are places where you don't get any darkness
in the Arctic.
Yeah,
right.
Which kind of aligns with that potential doorway because it's said that there might be out there.
According to
Stargate, I mean,
like I said, that's why I mentioned the Bermuda Triangle, because who knows what the fuck really happens down there.
People think that's like on ley line,
electromagnetic shit.
I'm not read on that enough yet.
People believe that.
We'll get into that one day too.
Stonehenge, there's ley lines,
it's an energy
meet at a certain point, and
exactly
same with Stonehenge and a few other ones.
They all fall on them. The Great Pyramids, the fucking the Mayan temples, they all fall on ley lines, bro. Fucking the Bermuda Triangles, Tibet. All of it, you know what I mean? So does the South Pole and the North Pole.
We keep bringing up Tibet. I just noticed, I guess we're talking about...
I keep giving shout-outs because I'm trying not to disclude the East.
Well, no, it's not even that. I'm just saying it's like... And then to tie back to like Jesus, we were talking to like the lost years. A lot of people believe he was in Tibet, and why do so many seekers?
There's a historical
go to Tibet,
account there, bro. There is a real historical account there.
That, and they've kept a lot of their traditions whole for a long time too. There,
for sure. But I mean, like geographically and things like that.
They got the best weed.
Who's this? China? Where's it at?
Tibet.
Oh, Tibet. Yeah,
don't go there, man.
That's high altitude shit.
Bash your head in.
Oh, dude, you get fucking die in front of a firing squad. Yeah, and I don't ever want to exclude China either, man. But China, I feel like, is its own thing. Like, it's its own episode because the history. I have so much on China alone, dude. That it's like with the shit I just posted the other day with that pyramid that's underneath the ground and like surrounded by a lake of mercury. I don't know if you guys know anything about it, but terracotta warriors. Bro, like there's some shit to get into about China and the Far East,
Oh, for sure.
As Agartha goes, though, I think we have to be realistic, dude, in how cavernous our Earth is. There is a cavern underneath Kentucky, right, that runs something 4,000 miles, and that's just what they have explored of it. This thing.
So how far? I mean, I'm asking the question. I guess I could look it up, but say I wanted to go straight to the other side of the Earth from Albany, New York, but through the Earth, not around it. How far would that be?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
The diameter of the Earth is what you're asking.
Right.
For.
Right. Well, that's the mass of the Earth.
No, it'd be the diameter, like from point A to...
Well, no. He's talking about going
around.
through.
I want to go straight.
Exactly, that's the diameter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
right, you're right. My bad.
I guess if we were better at math, we could figure it out because we know the circumference.
We do?
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Allegedly.
The circumference is just
allegedly.
We know the circumference.
So you just divide it by 3.14 and you have your...
Pi.
Yeah, we're going too far.
The golden rule. Yeah, we are.
I'm just
so
flexing.
no,
I'm
I'm
just
good.
flexing.
But no, yeah, do it.
What I'm gonna do right
Thank you,
now.
because I'm gonna actually look that up later because I
Listen.
forgot that for a
Divide
minute.
it by 3.14.
But if you're gonna believe what they tell you, what about the solid core, the magma, this and that, and we also have. This is a science I kind of believe in, where we have these waves that can go through the ground, and they can literally go through.
Seismic and
that's how we test all this stuff. So
sonographs and stuff.
right, so they know that at a certain point you hit this and this and this because the waves change.
Vibration.
The vibration, the waves change, and there's got to be something underneath us,
all right,
inside the core between here and there.
I misquoted
unless you believe
this shit
in
earlier, but
the flat Earth.
Well, right.
You want to get into that?
We'll get into that some other time too.
Right, yeah.
Well,
there's like P waves and something, right? Yeah. P waves they're called, and then there's two different waves they send through the Earth.
But what I want to get to about Gartha though, and like where I think a lot, the whole bird thing, I got to kind of just separate that and put it as its own thing for right now. But is that, like we were just getting into with Hermeticism and stuff, is, the alchemical principles. And one...
Is that loosening up on you, Tommy?
We're all right.
All right.
I'll be good.
I'm just saying we can fix it if you need to.
How do I sound? If I'm coming
No,
on?
you're good.
All right, cool.
You're good. I just want to make sure you're not uncomfortable.
Going back in the alchemical principles, also Freemason principles, is what actually, like my tattoo on my forearm, the word vitriol.
Right.
It's alchemical. The word vitriol is actually Latin for sulfuric acid because it was the solvent, like another step in the alchemical process. But as an anagram, it's Visitat interiora terra rectificando invenis occultum lapidum,
right?
Which is journey to the center of the earth, and through rectification, you will find the philosopher's stone.
Oh, is that what it says?
Yes. That's what that means in Latin.
But that's what I mean is like,
but that I'm trying to say if it might be a physical place, like as above, so below, but it is definitely the whole inner earth thing can be seen as an alchemical, analogy that some people might have taken too literally. I'm not saying that I hope there's more to it because it's more fascinating that way, especially the shit with Bird, like in interdimensional, travel, Stargate, type deal.
Well, the whole thing was that like when he went to it's that's why I had an episode in itself on it because there's so much to it, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's not even just Bird. It's not even
just alchemy and Hermeticism.
It's it's all of that too, man. And I mean,
you started seeing just with Newton. It's like, oh shit. It's like a regarded physicist was also an alchemist and a Rosicrucian.
Well, yeah. Well, and there's a lot of people that weren't public about it.
They couldn't be.
They
were still witch hunting back then.
Exactly. So when you start saying alchemy and
even 1700s, they were witch hunting. Even in the 1800s, you know what I mean, they were witch hunting, like with the Salem witches and all that shit. It never ended
So
back with the Templars.
Real quick, this is a quick segue that has nothing to do with nothing about the current topic. But now, let's fucking hypothetically, real quick. The powers that be, whoever the fuck they are, right? Whoever they are, just whoever.
We're talking physical, people.
Whoever, whatever. You know what I mean? Have information that says alchemy's real, Atlantis was real. You know what I mean? Like whatever the case may be.
Right? Whatever's in the Vatican. Whatever.
All of it.
Yeah.
Why do they let this shit play out? The witch trials, you got to kill a couple and then hide it. Why wouldn't you use it?
It's all control. It's just the same reason why COVID might be real, but our government's going to use it as a way to push more agendas.
But I'm just saying, if you have power over it, though, why wouldn't it just serve your purpose to put everybody else under it?
Well, as far as the Salem witch trials and that type of those type of witch hunts,
those were
they were pagan.
Well, that's what I mean. I was gonna say, don't you think that's kind of
I'm just using an example,
but I mean,
because he said it
right. But I'm just saying that's kind of where I picked up when I came back from the restroom. But it's come on. So people weren't that stupid back then. If we throw her into the pond and she sinks, she's not a witch. But if she floats, she is, and we'll still kill her.
She weighs as much as a duck, and she's a witch.
Right. So I mean, they were just looking for men back then. Had an easy way to get rid of their wife or whatever. Sick thing was going on.
Or women that didn't want to conform. Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're gonna, especially in small towns and stuff like that, like a little village. You're gonna get some I mean, we
You
all
guys are
we
gonna
all
go
know
live
like
alone and not have sex with
I
us.
just
That's
think
absurd.
I just think like if
but we
there-
know that women, they got a unique energy and power. They don't say original man; it's like the original woman. So,
well, the sacred feminine's always been throughout history. Women. It's funny how
Whether it was
women
Adam
were.
and Eve or Lucifer and Lilith, you know what I mean?
Oh,
It's,
yeah.
there's
Man, it
always-
was
there's
actually
something-
it was fucking actually Adam and Lilith at first, and then he kicked fucking Lilith to the curb because she wasn't fucking doing what he wanted, and
Right.
then fucking that's
he
when
had to made Eve out of a piece of him as a rib just to have that control.
Exactly.
The cage to my
So,
heart, like all that.
But
whatever,
even
my
through
mind says,
antiquity, women were always revered, and then it came.
Always.
Then we get up into the
well, like
fucking.
I was like that
the
post
later
I was talking
centuries
about, it's
and
like I got a little off
hang 'em up.
from the the Milky Way galaxy part of that post that you
Oh,
put
yeah,
on. But
yeah.
but still, like I didn't even know. I've seen that picture before, but I just noticed how those guys were reaching through the
Yeah.
through the section that's supposed to represent the womb of the Ankh, where you have the ovaries sticking out to the side or whatever, and they use that as like it means many things besides that. But that was one of the things of like that universal feminine womb.
Yeah.
And the alpha is that universal seed. Like both are, you can't have one without the other.
One without
You
the
know what
other.
I mean? But they're both vastly different. That's a beautiful thing, and
Yeah.
like, that's why there's a feminine and a masculine aspect that it's just is. Not saying that like certain things are restricted to this or that, but it's,
Well, no, that's all archetypes that human beings put in place. You know?
I say there's nothing wrong with
absolutely. It's like, and as soon as
Masculine
as
and
soon as
feminine.
you try to say you
No.
know what the divine feminine is,
I
it's
just
gonna
think-
pull 180
I
on
think
you
nowadays,
anyway.
I think nowadays it's tough because you're in 2020.
We're
feminine
talking
and-
spiritually, and
Yeah.
that we're not.
Yeah, we're not talking physically. No, I'm not.
Well,
saying-
I mean, or just like
That dude, that's a whole.
There's a-
other
there's a
can of
whole- yeah,
worms, but
there's
I'm just
a-
acknowledging the fact that
that's culturally.
that feminine
That's
and
what I mean,
masculine
systematic.
supersedes just sexing humans and other animals. Like it's
well,
it's-
consciousness
it's
is
a
consciousness
universal
is beyond
principle.
any of that. Consciousness is beyond the
Right.
gender. You know what I
But
mean?
even
Like, you know what I'm
consciousness,
trying to say?
even
Like,
as I've seen it,
I don't
is
think
still-
I could be reincarnated into a chick next time around, or I could be reincarnated into a female fucking pit bull, or whatever. I don't think consciousness is selective to gender.
No,
you know?
but I think it still is restricted to certain natural law. Even if consciousness is the natural law, it is not, it might be infinite as far as we can grasp infinite, but, you know what I mean? It's like,
which we can't.
it's still
Well,
mathematically perfect
right, and-
based on math and
I guess like
that we know for this universe.
yeah. So that perfect, like you said, the math we know for this universe,
There might
the
be tons of other
duality, the
universe-
masculine,
yes.
the feminine,
Yeah.
the yin, the yang.
It's shit that you get yourself in
yeah.
a fetal
We're not.
position.
Yeah, we're not talking about like what you identify as or anything. Like
Yeah,
that.
right,
Like,
right.
We're talking about
Universal
Just to
principle.
be
Yeah,
clear.
universal
At least
law.
what
There's
we agree on.
masculine and feminine is the duality, as above, so below.
1 and 2.
Right.
Which and this is a great episode for it because this is like Tom said, it's everything as above, so below.
Alpha,
you can see
Omega.
can see the correlation in literally everything in nature. It's mathematically perfect,
Well,
like
even
you
the
said.
Egyptian. That's why
Fibonacci
they-
sequences.
like,
Yeah.
The Fibonacci
That's
sequence.
why they had Amun Ra.
All right,
and
so
then-
getting into that, and I know obviously it's not. Sorry to cut you off, Tom.
we can.
but,
No,
like,
let's keep sending it.
It's. Do you think that it's a god that created us, or do you think it's a couple of gods? Do you think it's extraterrestrials? Do you like
There's a little
who was?
personification.
Do you think we're living in a simulation? Do you think we were created in a simulation? What like because both of you earlier,
It's
I heard
like-
both of you earlier say.
All right.
Well, he said he was a creationist, but
Which
at the
I don't
same
fully
time,
disagree with properties and universal laws that would go into creationism. I just am differing on the amount of time it took to make everything happen.
okay.
You know what I mean? It's like, and that's really just
So it didn't
It's
happen in
like,
7 days.
No, or 7,000, or 7,000 years. It's like that's my take. But either way,
But I mean, see, that's the guys. You always put me in a position where I got to defend
I don't
the
want
Bible
to.
and
It's
Jesus.
like-
Not you,
No.
this guy.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
like
he knew
you're-
what was
you're-
coming.
But no, you're
But-
going off.
but
You're
days
you're
are a matter
giving
of
you're giving
interpretation.
you're basing it off. You're basing it off of
Genesis.
chances are the 1700s edition of the King James Bible.
All right.
Right.
So that's not real Christianity, and I
So
mean,
what's
it
the
is because
real
like the
story,
mainstream.
though? That's what I
Yeah,
mean.
I
Is
wish I knew.
it's
See,
lost in
that's-
antiquity. Like that. That's what sucks. Is it's lost in antiquity because
But the Bible also, even if you read the, was it 1716? No.
Well,
I feel
even the
ridiculous.
Bible
But if you
has
read
very-
the main Bible used, even like these days, I believe in the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church for years used the Douay-Rheims Bible, I think it's called.
I'm not
Had
sure.
4 extra books.
I
The
was actually
the,
baptized
the
Catholic.
Apocrypha. They had the Apocryphas, the 4 books of the Apocrypha.
The Book
I
of
think it's called.
Enoch, really the one I guess that goes more into the actual origin story.
But this
So my
was-
thing is the Bible's, even the
But it was
King
taken
James
out.
version is still allegorical. It's not historical.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not okay. But then why is it taken as such? So like when you
Well,
sit
at
there,
that-
and
at
you
that
look
point
at
in
the
the-
Vatican. Look at Vatican history. Okay, look at anything
But
like
that's
that.
not. But the Vatican is
The modern world,
the
Jay.
church.
The modern
Well-
world is built on fucking
All
Christianity.
right, Edwin, let me ask you this: how come even back then, why were only some,
But
people
not
priests
real
and not everybody?
Christianity.
No,
It's-
my point is let's go before Jesus Christ.
no, I hear it. I am.
Let's go
I'm just saying,
before
like that's what I'm saying.
the
Like just
story
priesthoods
of-
of any culture or religion.
Okay, and
You
even,
had to have priests to break it
But
down.
we-
to
yes,
common
but
people.
most priests of the time weren't talking one God. They weren't talking 2 gods.
No.
They weren't talking 3 gods. They were talking about the sun feeding them and feeding their crops, and then they were talking about the moon bringing in the ocean and bringing it. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
so it's not like at some point it switched to monotheism or to polytheism. So it's like, why?
Well,
Why?
because maybe people started to think like, well, maybe I'm more than just
Not
someone
real-
to sit here and
well,
look at the sun all,
no, no,
night,
no.
all day and
so
the
you
moon.
create a creator?
It was
Or my thing is,
You get what I'm saying?
No,
man?
no,
That's not
no,
a fucked up
no,
question.
No, no,
man.
no.
I
My
hear you.
my thing has always been the story of creation is out there, and there's a group of people that know the truth, and that's why they keep it from us. You're not going to tell me that the first group of conscious humans here on Earth would not make it a point to document or at least pass down by word of mouth how we got here. It's the most amazing thing on this planet is how human
Absolutely.
consciousness
Right.
got here.
I don't.
So how did
disagree.
that get lost?
But this is
It
like,
didn't get lost. It got hidden
right.
and taken
mythos.
from us.
This,
And taken from us.
this is why I want to get now. Let me talk about gods and the switch from the plural to the mono.
Yeah, poly to mono.
So we could talk. I can combine Greek, Byzantine, and Egyptian. Here is that.
But what about before that?
But just hear me out.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just breaking balls.
If you
Go
look
ahead.
at all these religions and how they simmer, or there's similarities between them, is the fact that all these gods are also archetypal to a human faculty, a human emotion, a human thought, or
At
like
some
an
point they're
extreme.
embodied,
You know what I
as a
mean? Like
human,
how you
too.
have Afro, like even in Greece, how you have Osiris, who is the masculine entombed in a bull, just like so he is representing that man that is we feel divine, but we are still forced into our
Right.
earth prison. It's all just ways that they had a more complex system of describing certain extremes, but that were constant, just like the constellations in Greek. And when you get into how each god relates to a different planet, which relates to a emotion inside you in a specific region of your body that reflects with that emotions. It's the whole as above, so below principle that it's not so longer gods, like they're archetypes, like just like the breakdown of creation and universal law, where you have to start at a singularity. There's always that singularity, whether it projects the Big Bang, whether it keeps happening over and over again. You know what I mean?
But that's based on information that.
But it's just math.
I think you made
it's
another
just universal law.
But I think
like
you made
one,
another
yeah.
great point.
Yeah, but there's
with,
there's infinite possibilities of infinite galaxies, of infinite universes, there's an infinite possibility that there's infinite gods. You know what I mean? Is this the God of our universe?
How do we know that?
Infinite. Infinity's math,
No,
bro.
for sure.
No, how do we know that there are infinite chances of infinite gods of infinite?
Either way.
Well, if we're gonna subscribe,
how do we
to
not
any-
know that we? How do we not know that we aren't it? How do we not know that this
totally
experience here in this physical body
is it? Right.
I'm not saying it's it because we're doing something after this. No one knows what.
But
I'm saying, how do we not know that this isn't just it? Like your body is a vehicle that transport your soul for a certain amount of time, and then you go to the next place. Right, it's just part of your journey. We're traveling.
Yeah, has created.
Well, that I
come here just to travel,
but that I can subscribe to. So, like, if I'm to believe in a God. Right, and we fucked this whole episode up going down this road. Not fucked it up, but it's good. It's good conversation.
You can still label it anything you want, my man.
True. This is great conversation, and I appreciate you dudes for doing this shit.
But it all does kind of tie in. It's all religion. It's all consciousness. I mean, we're staying on those topics.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm not saying
we may not just be on Atlantis anymore, and I'm fine with that. Like,
no, me too. I love this. Is
besides Hyperborea, we hit on all.
Yo, listen, and this is what I'm saying though is that
those are the giants,
and I said it before when I said it. I'm like in both of our messages, our group message. I was like, look, we're gonna segue a lot, dude, and I love
because I'm way less anxious when.
Well, no, I want dudes to be comfortable, and I want our conversation to flow.
No, I love that you put the outline together because that always gives you something to go back to. Like, okay, we
kind of touched on this, kind of touched on
but
that.
not that. I mean, say we get way too far off. You can look at
we were talking about dolphins.
Yeah.
Getting raped by dolphins. I forgot that was a part of this.
You gotta give some laughs.
No, that was great, dude.
You can't.
No, but what I'm saying is that if I'm to believe,
we were actually talking about dolphins having sex.
Well, yeah, people getting raped by dolphins. Weird.
Well, I wish we started like rip some DMT right before the show, and I think
listen, if you guys wanted to do that before an episode,
but I'm thinking more towards winter and not when it's like hot and sticky.
Not
and
like
shit.
this, dude. It's sticky.
I like it when it's like colder and
winter solstice.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, if you guys really want to do it, I'll make it happen.
It'll be fun.
I mean, someone will make it happen.
I had a really good experience at the solstice.
I want to go
when
with
I
you
went
next
to the
time.
Grays place down there in Wappinger Falls, New York.
Yeah, I'm just trying to hit at how all these they can all actually mean the same, but people have just been taking their definition and face values too literally. You know what I mean? Like the story of Christ, like the story of Hercules, the story of what's his name? The guy from the not Hammer. Well, it is
Hammurabi's Code.
Yeah, but who's the god that floated down river or whatever and had to go into the underworld? That was their. It was their hero story. It was.
So you got me.
I can't
on
even
one
think of the Byzantine, the
Byzantine.
No, Babylonian.
No. But Babylonian.
No, even before that. I don't know. Why I'm out of it. But either way, I'm trying to think of the name of their god though that did the same thing. Basically, that hero story, all these archetypal things that us as men and man, woman, all of it need to go through for that alchemical experience. It's almost like, even though it's it's an assumption for me as an alchemist, but I feel like all of us go through those things and are always trying to get pushed through that alchemical process.
Well, it's a process, right?
And it's your choice, though, to be open to it or not.
Well, yeah, and I think
I don't believe in free will.
If I had to give one religion,
you say you don't believe in free will?
No, not really. It's I think it's more like an RPG. There's tons of paths that were almost infinite. It almost seems infinite, but really
See, I disagree.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, I kind of agree in a sense.
It's all building and making itself.
But that is free will, though. That is kind of free will because if so check this out. I'm a fucking give you an example of free will. I could talk about two different things right now. And both things would open up an infinite number of possibilities of where it would go.
You are Schrodinger's box at this point. I got
exactly. You know what I mean? So now I choose the topic. And now if I say, okay, we're going to talk about fucking the Dallas Cowboys, right? Because, they're the best football team ever. Anyways, what we would do is now that would lead into you guys talking shit to me. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
And then
I like the Jets if I do watch football, so I can't say that.
No, but you dig what I'm saying. Or I could have said, yo, we can go
back.
But
I don't get how that's an example of free will.
Right.
Because I'm giving you. So check this out. If I choose,
no, those choices are already there.
I think it's an example.
Well, yeah, they're already.
He said, I'm just going off of what he said, because he brought up a good point.
That's perceived free will. But is it?
The choices are already there for you.
It's
What?
just-
It may
But
be
they're
an
learned.
infinite amount of noise. It may be an infinite.
But they're
infinite
learned
amount of
choices, though, right?
But it's not an
based
infinite.
off
It's
of
finite.
other choices that
Yeah,
you
but I'm
made.
just saying, like, I mean, this is a part of the, like, if
I'm
this is,
giving the Grand Architect a lot of credit. Here's what I'm
I
doing.
know you
and
agree.
that, like this blue, but like,
but this is again, I don't not disagree because it's anything is possible, and we could be living in a simulation, and every fucking single thing that we do
what
is
I'm-
planned
and
out.
what I'm trying to say is like you're right, and like I'm
Absolutely.
kinda right.
No,
It's
you
like,
are.
Like we are building like the
Tommy,
options are
we don't know,
kinda
bro.
Slightly limited based on.
I don't
like,
need to be right.
or-
I just need to
or-
be. I need to talk this out.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing it because
Yeah.
it gives me a thought process.
Well,
and
this is the duality between the nature of this oneness. You know what I mean? Like we are a perceptual machine, constantly generating new experience.
Talk a little bit more into that.
Yeah. That like we
Kinda
are a
coming through the
conscious
side.
machine, like working together with that singularity to experience things.
Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Which
Well,
is why
that's
it's
why,
like,
like,
look at the fucking universe we're living in. We
just
got
to tie
Trump,
it
our
back
fucking
to it,
president, like all this crazy shit.
Atlantis. Just to tie it back to Atlantis.
Atlantis.
Well, we talked about the Vril and them.
Yeah, we kind of breezed
That's-
over that.
But I mean, like it ties
You know
into
where that
this free
originated,
will
though,
and
right?
This type of stuff is they were thought of as basically magicians because they had like
They had the
these
power.
And they
powers
thought that
and-
they could challenge
Well,
those universal like
So
flows
where
and go against the grain.
where in the timeline of human evolution, mentally, consciously, and all of that, where did the stunting come in? Where did the people say, "All right,
Greed.
we're gonna hold"? Not why, where?
Right.
This is what I've always tried to figure out. This is like a rhetorical question for me.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
this is
It's like
pre-flood.
where
so
where in human consciousness did they say we're gonna take out? Because, like I said, the most important
or is it cyclical?
piece of history on this planet is where did humans really
It's
come
the most
from?
important question.
And there's like, if you want to go with a scientific answer and evolution and macro evolution
Tommy.
and all that bullshit, you can
I
go
need a
with
break.
it.
you
But
guys are fucking tapping out on me?
Not yet, but it's like
Oh my
just give me. I need a
God.
breath.
see, I got off topic.
But yeah, no,
Oh,
hear
my
you.
bad, dude.
We're on topic. It's like, but
I know what you're saying.
Where and who? We can't pinpoint it, and I would love to be able to do that. It's like,
Well, all right, so
when did it
or-
happen, and who were the people that
is
did
it just celestial clockwork and
There's-
it's gonna just be a happening that
But
keeps
think
happening?
that human consciousness, especially if we're gonna believe like the what we're taught about how old the Earth is, how old humans are, how old where and when was it decided like we're gonna hold this information from them? Because there's no way that the first civilization, like even the first civilization that we have the Sumerians, that's the first written text
Yep.
on the
So that's what I was
cuneiform.
talking about. The Sumerians.
Yeah, so
and
the
that's
Sumer.
The Sumerians on their cuneiform. So we're talking about they were what 4,000 years before the Egyptians, 2,000, 4,000
They were
years
quite
before the
some
Egyptians.
time.
Gilgamesh
they wrote
was
on-
the word I was looking
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
Gilgamesh.
That was it. The Epic of Gilgamesh. Yeah.
There you
So
go.
we're talking about, as far as we know, they were the first civilization to like have written anything. They did it. So who before them did it, and who before that? Like, obviously they decided to do it, and I mean, there's very few people, I guess, according to what I've ever studied, that were able to translate the Sumerian cuneiform. Zechariah Sitchin was one,
But this is
and the Gods of Eden series is just crazy
Bro,
to read. You know, it's,
fucking mind blowing.
Right.
But we take Sumer.
so who? But my thing was just like, who before then? Why was? I mean, I know why it was decided
that's
because
why
it's to control our brain and keep
Our
our
psyche.
Well, right, but
And our-
or is it something though that even them deciding that is it still just how like the Earth is submitted to the power of the sun and the moon? Are we not too? You know, is it just because it is just predetermined stars and the Mayans had that figured out? That
I
it's
don't
just
know.
that the rise and fall of man can be predicted, and it almost can be. It's like the events that happen.
cycles.
Like
yeah,
in,
it's
in
always
like
been
Nazi
cycles.
Germany, exactly. And
Well-
that, it's like that is again a universal
Great-
principle that we might
Great
need
cataclysms
100
have cleansed the
Yep.
earth 100
again
times
and
over.
again. Just
you
like
know?
the phoenix rising and burning from its ashes and creating itself over and over again, like that. But hopefully, each time we do this, you get a little bit closer to something more pure in the end. It's an alchemical, like we are in the crucible of.
Like, and then like Phoenix from the ashes.
So you guys didn't answer my original question though.
About which one now?
So do you believe in one God, or do you believe?
I believe.
What is one at a time?
Today or tomorrow or 20 minutes ago or
right
20 minutes from now?
Fucking now.
I believe in the breakdown.
Right this second.
The prismatic
what is
breakdown of light, and that it's like it goes through once it starts to break and fractalize, that you get concentrated energy in the form of archetypes, kind of like the ghosts that we were talking about, but I'm talking more pure, more universal, more will always be there, and that those energies have been like translated into gods or demons or angels or whatever, but that like there are certain conjunctions, spheres of, a breakdown of energy, just like how we have, the 4 elements. Those could almost be seen as archetypes, like the fire, the water, the air, the earth, and all that can embody an earth or a fiery, being, or an air-like being, or a water-like being. See, I think there's archetypes.
So, but that's the archetype.
But you can't personify them like some,
It's like a lot of truth.
Human,
a lot of truth is said in jest, though. So, like, they had that idea come from somewhere. Like, that idea didn't just appear in their mind and be like, you know what, let me make this archetype to relate this to something.
Or did it? It's like just same thing when you smoke DMT or something like that, how your brain tries to take what it has experienced and knows to, like, kind of paint a picture and explain to you what you're going through and witnessing.
I can understand that.
Like how people keep saying, like, clockwork elves and stuff like that or whatever. I typically would always see stuff
Clockwork
like
elves.
The machine elves.
Yeah, I would see stuff that's more like Mayan. Oh, gotcha, I would always get stuff that's like very like Mayan, like, real tight, like 90-degree angles everywhere.
See, my stuff's always been like, that's why I've always, I loved Alex Gray and Allison Gray's stuff way before I dabbled, but now I realize why, as like a teenager, I loved their art, is because when I did dabble, that's what I saw. Like,
yeah, no, for sure. That's
what I saw. Like that's not all, but that's as close to what I saw each time as I can ever explain to somebody. And that's how there's a definite connection there, because that's why they're making that art. Is not why they're making it for the world, but the reason that they can paint those pictures is because they went to those places.
Right.
So much,
and that's what they see. And
the fact that it's all a very similar experience is, should be a light bulb to many.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But that's, again, before you were smoking DMT, before they cultivated mushrooms and ate them, which obviously I think happened like as we were...
Our brains weren't capped.
Well, I know they weren't.
People could just tap into that, like,
right?
And people still do. People still do.
Absolutely.
People meditate and transcend and do all kinds of.
Bro, I read a story.
Any stimulant. They don't need any drug. They do it
on their own.
I read a
story about a monk, bro, that fucking
like 200 years old over in India.
There was one like that.
Yeah, still sitting in the lotus position.
Or something like that.
Yeah, he became so
eats his brain juice.
So at peace that he just slowed everything down so much. I mean, if you believe it. Yeah, he's supposedly like 200.
Well, it wasn't even just that. There was another one about a monk that was like vibrating. So like he had been meditating for like a week or something like that, and his like assistant or somebody like that was like bringing him tea every day. Days that he would take the tea, and there were days he wouldn't. And then for like 4 days straight, like she was told not to bother him, but for 4 days straight he didn't take the tea. So on the 5th day, she went in the door, and allegedly she couldn't see the lower half of his body.
Whoa.
Allegedly.
A good friend, you met him actually, and he was here, but I believe him because I saw him during it. Claims he was doing walking meditation for about 2 or 3 months.
Fucking wish I'd have got him on here.
And the stories he told me just and they're true. Like he gave all his money away. He went to, I don't even want to say the cities or whatever, but people who know me may know him. But he went somewhere and he literally was cleaning out his bank account, just handing money out to homeless people in the city, and he gave money to some guy. And this is just like culmination of all this walking meditation. Right. I mean, it was happening for months. He said he was just, he wasn't taking any drugs, any hallucinogenics, anything. He was just literally going out and camping and meditating. And he does the Kundalini yoga and all that. And he was like, I'd walk to a bus stop and I'd stop and door would open and I'd get on. The bus driver wouldn't even ask me for money. He wouldn't even look at me, and I'd sit down. He goes, I'd sit there, and finally it'd be like a stop. I'd get off and I'd be like, oh shit, I'm right by so-and-so's house. And I'd go there, and it so happened to be like it was perfect timing. And
synchronicity.
Right.
Serious, hardcore synchronicity. And I don't want to like say I
just want to say, like, to finish it, the culmination of it all was he had basically given away thousands of dollars. And thousands and thousands of dollars, and he was out by the beach, and he had a little bit of money, and he gave it to somebody, and the guy like fucked him up, and he was like, I don't know what. He goes, I don't know why. We know why. It was a spiritual warfare type thing. The dude was like, I don't know why, but I have to kill you. And he's like, if you feel like you gotta kill me, kill me. He's like, maybe that's why I'm here. Like, that's how much at peace he was with everything.
Yeah.
He goes, and the guy was like, the fuck out of him. I was like, I can't do it, but I don't know why. I have to kill you.
Yeah, dude.
This crazy story, but he and none of it. He talks about it like, you know, it was just,
he doesn't want to talk about
but there
it.
you go.
No, it took
years.
but
that at peace, but that's what I mean about there not being free will.
But he was putting in the work, man.
He
like
was
this
so
dude was
in line and in tune with like that flow that it led him right to.
He was going.
People that really
he's never owned a cell phone. He's never owned a cell phone. He's never owned a computer. He's never owned any of that stuff ever. And he's literally the type of guy that will pack his backpack, throw on his hiking shoes, go out in the woods 5, 6, 7 days by himself with, you know, nuts and.
Yeah, well, he went fucking climbed the mountain with me, dude. We went and climbed fucking Cascade Mountain, one of the 46 peaks.
Yeah.
And he loved it. He fucking loved it, dude. And I felt good being out there with him. Like, we had a really good vibe, man. And we got to talk, you know, and it was good. I like Johnny a lot, man, and I can't wait to see him again. But Tom, talk about your kind of synchronicity you were saying. You said it.
Like back when I was deep in the mushrooms for a bit, to the point where it was like basically a schizophrenic episode.
You know a guy? Just kidding. Don't answer
that. I used to know like some really good guys and
great guys.
Like, yeah, everything was just always on. But anyway, these bloomers that we were getting, dude, it's like I thought I was basically becoming Jesus back then. Like,
no way, really?
I was 18, 19. Like, nobody else was like having these thoughts, just like Crowley. Like, having all these crazy, pure, prophetic thoughts dumping into my head from after, like, this, like, what I thought was taking a dive into, you know,
did you get into the multiverse, bro?
With Salvia, dude. But like not in a good way.
No, I'm talking about like shrooms. Like it's
you
were tapping into something.
It was really Salvia.
Well, it could have been in a good way. Like we talked about it on the other episode I was on with like Ike, and that was like his first.
Salvia was my first spiritual hallucinogenic experience.
He wasn't talking about any drugs, but he was just talking about when, you know, and I'm putting up the quote. When he first, you know, kind of became awoke, was the same thing. He was like, I feel like Jesus. I feel like this.
Right. It was a schizophrenic episode. Like,
but I'm not
trying to demean it.
No.
That's just how it would be seen psychologically.
Right.
True. From a psychologist. I'm just labeling it as. Like,
I thought you were
like
the
delusion of grandeur. I have to keep those thoughts kind of in my head so that I
but
keep
that's
myself in check.
No,
Tommy.
You know, that's not a delusion of grandeur. Like
you know why? You know why it's considered a delusion of grandeur? Because society told you it was.
It would make me
That's
function.
what fucking pisses me off about that. It's something that you may have been awakening. Like, listen, I've fucking had DMT experiences. I've had LSD experiences. I've had experiences of that nature. I fucking love UFOs. I love extraterrestrials. I love fucking Bigfoot. I love everything. I've never I've never had an experience like that. And if I had an experience where I feel like I was waking up, and we'll get into those eventually, like another episode or something. But my point is that society sits there and tells you that you're not right.
Oh,
okay.
Sure.
Now, sure, there's people that aren't fucking right, and then there's people that are.
Time, but it's like, you know, I found I wasn't grounded at all through any of this, and like
so you're kind of
without having that like grounding and, you know, the job and stuff and nothing to go back to, you know. Being that far gone, doesn't really help if you're not able to communicate.
It's not that far gone though.
But it's like, I mean, I was going to mental wards like
society
all the time
puts
because like I was really like
but
out
but
there.
Tommy, Tommy,
I
again,
had to
listen.
bring it down a little bit.
Listen, bro.
I don't know.
I've known you for
Yeah,
like
but
a little while now.
How old are you?
It's-
Not to.
I'm gonna be 30.
Yeah,
see, I was way off. I told him you were 24 earlier.
No, I'm not that young.
Oh my
I
God.
appreciate it. You know.
No, man.
I'll take it as a compliment,
But what's considered
This
all
is-
perspective?
but
man.
this
It's
is
all
what I.
perspective.
This
No,
is.
no, it's like,
Jay's,
I'll get
Jay's
into
thinking
it.
the
But the
same
good thing
way I
about
am.
it
It's
is,
like, I
like-
don't mind talking about
No,
what
it's
happened
nothing-
to me right now.
and that's
It's
a good
like,
thing
but
because-
I had.
And in all honesty, like the best thing is talking.
Oh,
Whether
for
it's
sure.
here, there, or
Therapeutic,
anything.
bro. It's
And no
therapeutic.
matter what was happening, obviously you learned from it. It was a
Oh, I still
conscious
I half
experience.
believe all of my bullshit to a degree.
It's not
too.
bullshit because
No,
it's
right.
it's probably true.
But
it's probably
How do
true.
you feel? All right, so
But
quick-
at least
quick-
you recognize, like, okay, well, I'm gonna. And then you went and saw through their bullshit and went back and realized
Well,
that your
right.
shit.
I
is,
stopped taking the meds and stuff that they were prescribing me and all that. Cause it's
Well,
like, I
quick
had to
question:
do
how did
anything,
you
but-
feel? And this is like a
This
be
was 8
be
years
honest
ago,
with me.
too, so obviously,
Be honest with me. During that time, did you feel what you were doing was right?
Oh, I thought I was like the absolute pivot point of the universe, and that I had to do what I was doing to get us to move into like the next, realm of thought.
So you felt it.
awakening.
And
What I'm asking
I have
is,
a
if you
feeling.
felt it.
I have a feeling you still feel that way because I know that even after I'm
Yeah,
39.
No, I do.
I'm
but I don't.
39 and I feel the same way. But it goes back to synchronicity. That's why
Right.
the three of us
Are
from
here.
different walks of life, 39,
Right, you're talking about it right
32.
32, 30. Like, we're here. We would have never. Certain things brought us together. We would have never met. We would never know each other.
Jay, how long has it been now?
now. It's that verse.
Over 7 years because
Yeah.
I was raised 7 years ago, and I met you like that
night.
So a little bit over 7 years.
and
7.5 years.
and bro, and we've built ever since.
And you
like
I haven't even got my master's degree yet, and I'm already been just at least trying to put myself.
Tommy,
out
listen,
here,
bro, you're doing
like-
great, bro. You have to be
COVID.
confident in what you're doing, and obviously, I'm saying with that stuff,
It's
you
always
learn
half
from
and
it.
half. It's
You
like
learn.
I have to keep that humility and that humbleness.
You
'cause
have
I
to.
feel it's like without because the super ego came with it. I shedded
Yeah,
the ego.
see, now you
I
gotta get rid of that.
thought I was the sacrifice. I thought I was put, but because of that, I also truly believe that the power that came with it. And
More
that
into
I
that,
was,
Mike, a little bit. More?
I
There you go.
truly believe the power that came with it, and
Perfect.
that I was this ultimate, I guess, conduit.
And that
And
may
that-
sound schizophrenic and that may sound crazy, but I believe that every person should go through that because you should put that much responsibility on yourself. You should feel like, wait a minute,
Imagine
I'm
if
here,
the whole world did that.
right? I'm here to do something. I'm not here to be a worker bee. I'm not here, and that's not discounting anybody.
For me, it was we were pre 2012, but it was now it was 2008-9, and I started seeing all these conspiracy videos because my brain was just on this path, and I thought because what
It's a slippery slope.
what I experienced on Salvia though, dude, I thought was hell,
Right.
where there was no attachment anymore. I was not in the universe. I was not with my body. I was no longer Tom Seymour or anything
yeah, that
like that.
stuff's scary.
Because it's
I've never,
dude, I fell through the cracks of just think about the inward opposite of DMT because
Yeah.
it was all inside my brain. I was hopping between
Never done
different
Salvia.
bodies.
You ever
and,
done Salvia?
No, I wouldn't even try it. The first time I ever saw someone do it, it was,
I came out screaming.
yeah, it was a friend of ours. and
How long
he-
does it last?
5-10 minutes.
I'll say
just
very
just
short, but-
No
DMT.
fucking
Oh,
way,
yeah,
really?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the length may be like DMT, but I saw two people do it, and the first time I saw someone do it, he was a very passive guy, real calm, real cool, collective. Someone was like, take a hit, hold it in 30, try to count to 30, hold it in
Count
your
it,
lungs for 30
hold
seconds.
it in until your eyes start to shake.
So
That's what I was
he
told.
blew it out,
What?
started coughing. He fell out of the chair,
Yep.
and then he stood up, and
I can't believe you
if
could
I
say
ever
it.
saw someone shapeshift, he shapeshifted. He turned into a different person. He stood up and he was like, "Who gave me that?" And he was almost like
Oh my god.
Incredible Hulk busting out of his shirt, different, just changed.
Well,
Wow.
a different
Where-
being came into him.
Exactly.
That new weight, dude. It's when I came back.
The wifey was like, because he was about to yoke someone up that he thought gave it to him, and
Oh,
she's like, "Do
shit.
something, Jason." I was like, "I don't know if I want to get involved in that right now because that's
Yeah,
not
word.
that dude.
the fuck
That's
you mean?
not
All right,
him.
so let
What do
me-
you mean right now?
Let
He
me
got
let me go
animal
through-
strength.
Let me go through my experience with Salvia, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead. You tell us. Let me know.
We've destroyed this outline. I'm sorry.
Wow, dude,
No,
no, we're already
like-
done with that outline. We're having
But
fun
this
now.
this was my
Part two.
this was my and
At
it was not a
once.
nice
This is
warm
good, dude.
spiritual awakening. This was my spiritual awakening though, where I'm with my friends. We took a Montreal trip from Hudson Valley. You know what I mean? And that's where we found the Salvia. It was up in like
Club
one of
Super
their
Sex?
little.
man.
That was
Safe
actually
words
we
and
went
shit.
there.
Club Super Sex, huh?
It was fucking $120
How'd I know?
best lap events I ever had. But
Hey.
regardless,
I just heard about it on.
Hey, dude, I was 18. Like,
No, I've been there.
in Europe, and they still let us drink
I've
up
been
there
there
in
a couple
Canada, not
times.
Europe, Canada. But
Canada.
they let us drink up
The
there.
Queen's on the
when we were 18
money,
back then.
so whatever.
But either way, we ended up grabbing some salvia there. We smoked it out of a bowl or whatever. Didn't know anything about it. Nothing really happened then. Whatever. We ended up, home. We watched a couple more videos on it. Like this girl smoked it. She freaked out, but we weren't too sure why. And then one night we're all chilling out by the Hudson River in my car. We were burned, but like we ran out.
This
of
is here
nuggets.
now?
Yeah, now this is in Kinderhook, and we're back home. It's been like a couple months or whatever, and I still have this little bag of salvia in my in the handle of my car. I'm like, hey guys, I still got salvia, and I have my bong. And we've been watching all these videos about how this salvia.
Now,
dude,
this is the second trip around, or
well, no, because the first time I didn't really trip. This was the first original trip.
Oh no shit.
And like when I really tripped, because now I saw this dude who took these videos
Chat.
where he said,
There you go.
he said to like get in on hold it in as long as you can until your eyes start to vibrate.
Okay, yeah.
And then like let it out. So I did that. All right, and
So I did it.
I did.
That was your
All
big
my balls.
mistake.
And then all of a sudden, dude, it's just everything got like really like green and purple. And like just kind of like went in, which I guess are like the negatives of like gold. So there's some really weird shit with like colors and vibration and stuff
Really?
in this plane. But like it's just like breaking up and like taking a fucking hammer to a mirror and just shattering it. That's just your reality, and then like you're just slipping through the cracks though of them. You're no longer looking at that reality, that the mirror, and you're now going through the cracks.
Wow.
Every thought you have breaks up into a million different fragmented pieces, into a million different options or whatever that you could then fall through because your brain like takes you on these tangents to try to describe what you're going
And this
through.
is all in 5 minutes?
And
Yes.
Salvia was like legal, and you could buy it at gas stations and stuff for a while,
Right?
right?
It's like
Yeah.
it was like K2.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's just Salvia
Spice.
Divinorum. Like, dude, listen to like what's his name talk.
No,
about
I've
it. Terrence
seen
McKenna.
I've seen some people
Listen
do it.
to
It's-
McKenna talk
I'm
about
sure
it.
I'm gonna have to.
It's
'cause-
like Salvorn
I don't know much
A,
about
Is
it.
it illegal now?
yeah, it is.
It is.
Yeah, too many people.
Yeah, it's a
jumped up
schedule.
making
It's
shit.
a schedule 2, I think.
Too many people jumping.
Let's get
out
some
their
bath
houses and
salts.
stuff.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, yeah, no,
Eat
you don't
someone's
want
face.
to do that.
What's
No,
that?
hell
What's that
no.
other stuff? No, we want the stuff that eats your arm. You shoot it, and then it eats your whole arm.
crocodile?
Yeah, that's
Ooh,
the
yeah.
that's the stuff we want.
But all right, so getting back.
Oh,
to
yeah,
my thing.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like now I'm falling through. Now I have one serious, vivid memory of like I ended up in this like a classroom setting, and like it brought me into a dimension in reality to try to explain to me what I was experiencing. And that's the only way I can describe it, at least. You know what I mean?
No.
So I'm in this like classroom, and we're all like have our fucking heads on our desks or whatever, and we're all fucking laying out around, but we have all these like technology fucking helmets on our head that are like wired into our fucking domes.
So you're in the
Ooh,
Matrix.
Well, kind
You're in
of,
the
kind
Matrix.
of.
Up in the
You know what I
pod.
mean? This is like all like my brain's way of trying to tell me what the fuck's going on. So this right here is where I've learned that there's something like a mind above, the brain, where like there's something in me trying to tell me what's going on.
The
But like,
conscious and the subconscious.
but then, so
Yeah.
I realized there's a helmet, start to try to tear it off, and as I'm tearing it off, I hear this female voice that says, "Oh, class, we have another one." And then zoom out. Now I'm starting to come out of the trip, but I feel like I'm in like a chair with all this like shit coming out of me and stuff. Because a lot of people say they feel like knives and shit in you. I felt like I had tubes and shit in me. And I had to like pull them out.
Oh, you fucking watched
like,
the Matrix before you. Did
Well, it was. I definitely had seen it, and my body. It was trying to like make that kind of like
Connection.
feeling. You know what I mean?
I mean,
like
maybe,
I'm
dude.
just like we're all in like some like
Google
Simulation.
you know what I
Google
mean? A
right now.
simulation. Like I'm trying to tear
humans
through
in
it.
pods.
And then, but like I don't remember. Like I don't feel
You'll
like
get-
my
you'll get
arms.
something.
I don't feel my body. I don't feel my arms. I think I'm stuck and trapped in this my mind, like in this interdimensional hell. And as I'm coming out though, and realizing I hear I'm screaming bloody murder. And I hear my friends start to like call like my voice, like saying Tom, and I'm just like, who? What is that? Like, oh, they're calling for Tom Seymour. Like, who's Tom Seymour? You're Tom Seymour. What is? It's like, who is that? It's like that's Mike. That's Tom Seymour's friend. And as I'm coming out, and then finally, like, I start to see, like, in my car seat again. Like, we weren't driving or anything, you know what I mean? We were just parked at the river. But I'm finally in my car, And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm looking at my hands like I'm back. I mean, like I have the right to like live again. And
Back in
like,
my human form.
and then and so like I just opened the fucking door to my car, like stomp out. Like, did I just do salvia? First words that came out of my mouth. I didn't even really like know what just happened.
Right.
But like,
even though you had gone into it willingly.
Like there's 100 people times 1,000 that done salvia and like just entered me. You know what I mean? Like, did I just do salvia?
Yeah, well, no.
Like that dude you were talking
well, like
about.
I said,
exactly.
that night,
like,
he didn't have it. He wasn't like the dude who brought it. People were doing it. I went to a party, and people were... And I actually went with him. I drove, and we got there, and... Oh, never mind. Maybe what I told him, wrong keywords. Anyway, I drove with him there.
It says pod people.
I drove there with him.
You came up with some weird
and
shit.
They were doing it, and then that's why he did it. He's like, oh, and I was like, you first.
Yeah.
And he went first, and I was like, nope.
Yeah, no.
Because when I saw him,
rough,
I'm telling you, like when I say shapeshifter, not to any other, like, he was still a human, but he was not the same person.
No, like someone else just taking a ride in him while he
oh
was
my
going.
God, oh my God.
People at like... Now,
I was like, he's got like shoulder muscles and shit. Like,
I go and start looking up salvia and like people's experience. This is where you learn about Erowid experience. I'm sure you've been to that website, dude. Anybody that's like,
what is it?
Erowid.
Yeah,
like
it's
experience.
yeah.
ERROWID.
Yeah, it's
huge.
Yeah.
Like actually, like about the psychonautic experience, but.
It's kind of like DMT Nexus.
Well, that's where I find this person who has also gone through a serious trip with only the 5x, concentration or what they call it. So like it's like one of the smallest like X, dose that you can get, but I feel like it's what keeps you kind of on that border or whatever, and not just breaking through into some fantastic dream. But like, so I'm reading his experience and. A lot of like the breakdown and like the geometric patterns and stuff forming and stuff, and then him saying that he also heard a female's voice say, "We have another." Like,
now who heard that?
The guy, whoever like experienced, like he didn't have his name or anything, but that wrote out the experience that he had with that drug. That's what the Erowid experience.
Well, I
all
think.
about.
All right, so just from my experience with DMT, I think you're getting to like 9 out of 10 times if you fucking look at trip reviews for DMT,
right.
9 out of 10 times you're gonna get a lot of the same shit.
Right.
Like people just are they're seeing the same shit. So I'm wondering if with these substances like DMT, ayahuasca, salvia, you know what I mean, these hallucinogenic places, peyote, fucking I just posted a picture of peyote the other day. And shrooms, you know what I mean, all this other shit, psilocybin. You're getting to a respective place that substance takes you to. So like Terrence McKenna said it best. He's like the shroom. When he would
LSD.
take LSD too. When he used to take 5 dry grams.
Big shout out LSD.
I know, right? 5 dry grams, he would call it the hero's journey.
Right.
And what would happen was he would explain it as if he was in a different place than that of DMT. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Or of salvia.
They're all different.
Well, that's what I mean. Is I'm wondering
they
if
all have
these
their DNA
substances
signatures.
take you to their respective places.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like, okay, well, here's DMT.
This is why
shroom.
I always thought that like the drugs were the aliens, and that's why each one was so different, but yet unique, and like that they were the more intellectual like DNA and stuff that like we need to experience.
Well, we know for a fact there is nothing on Earth more complex than the human brain. Nothing.
Maybe the dolphin's brain.
No. Nothing close.
Bro, we can dissect a fucking dolphin's brain and know how it operates. We've done it with human brains and can't figure it fuck out.
I wish I could remember these exact stats because they're that amazing. And I got this from a young Earth creationist. And he cited it very well because he cited it on his on the lecture, and he cited it, and I looked, whatever. But basically, the gist of it is, and I'm way off with these numbers, but the world's fastest supercomputer, we'll say, makes 50,000 calculations per second.
Right.
A honeybee's brain makes like 200,000 calculations per second.
Right.
And our brain is however many thousand times more complex than a honeybee's brain. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, there's a reason that somewhere along the line they stopped the information, stopped it, and then stopped not the
Well,
information.
certain parts
started
of
to
our DNAs
control the
turn off, too.
information.
Calcified pineal gland.
That too. Yeah.
Well, that too, and then
All that
like I just
fluoride.
said, there's it seems
Even
to
before
be,
that, they were they don't
Wasn't
even
there a
need
book on
fluoride
it, the
though.
psychosocial chemical.
They know how to attack
manipulation?
They know how to attack you spiritually and mentally on
Every day.
vibrational levels.
Yeah.
They don't the fluoride. That's just
Right.
that's the sprinkles on the sundae. You know what
Well,
I mean?
do you see that
let's
shit?
give
I
a
don't
little
know.
something extra.
Was like
You can go to. We live in Rensselaer County. You can go to the Rensselaer County water department website, and it literally says on there, like we add fluoride to the water, basically saying they add fluoride to the water to help people's teeth.
Yeah.
When has government ever
Fuck
spent
you.
more money to add something in to help you?
You know who else
If
did
that
that?
shit
right?
really helped you, they'd tax you.
You know who else did that? Hitler did that.
Yeah. If it really helped you, and they were adding it to the water, because you'd be charged for that shit. You
Right.
know what I
Oh,
mean?
for sure.
And it's literally on our county water website. We add fluoride to the water.
Oh yeah,
And then they could list the benefits.
Yeah, it's like thanks a lot for doing it. But
Right.
it's like, but yeah, it's
You
like,
should see the look on the.
there was an actual book on it. It's called the Psychosocial, Chemical, Biological, and Electromagnetic Manipulation of Human Business.
There you
Wow.
go.
It's
How
like
about
that. Well,
that?
that was actually. You ever heard of Jedi Mind Tricks?
Yeah.
Well, that was
Yeah.
their first.
Jedi
album.
Mind
That was
Tricks.
the name.
I was gonna say that sounds
like
like the name of their first album.
Yep, it is.
But they also on their. Now we're really going.
Yeah.
Hip hop, hey dude.
Hey,
There's
no, I love
underground
hip hop, but I'm
that's
just saying
all in it,
on that album they were quoting Riley Martin and reading from the book Becoming a Tan, like
right.
Very
Riley
true.
Martin, Okwan Tanjiwan, for anybody who knows Riley Martin.
Right. So with the Salvia experience, like you're obviously probably not going to do it again, right?
No, I don't need to. For sure, I got all I need to out of that one. But,
Yeah.
One and
it's-
done.
But it's like, we were getting into with the brain kind of being a transmitter or a radio.
Yeah,
and like
absolutely.
these drugs just kind of, it's simple science as far as changing the chemical composition of your mind to be a little more acidic or whatever, so
Yeah.
that electricity flows through
You know
it
what's-
differently. The magnetism
You
behind
know what's
it,
absurd to me is that what they're doing with psilocybin right now. Like what they're doing with psilocybin right now is,
ruining it.
well, not really.
I know they're
Perfecting it like they
scheduling
are.
I don't
Yeah.
think.
Well,
no, well, so here's the thing:
a couple
is
states
all
have
of that
actually
shit,
decriminalized it.
a couple. There was Oakland, the city of Oakland in California.
Really?
All right,
Didn't
not
Washington
scheduled.
or
Denver,
Oregon?
but-
Washington did, and then Denver did.
which is why they're able to now do medical research with
Yeah.
it.
Well, I don't think they're ruining it though, because you can't take away something that I can grow. So if I can go out in the woods and find the same psilocybin,
Yeah, but to grow good ones, you don't grow them in the woods.
It's
man.
not-
the barn and cow shit.
I'm-
You have a
you
storage.
get what I'm saying.
You get
though,
a
is
storage
that,
shed, and you get some friggin' Tupperware bins. and
Yeah, yeah.
Control the light.
well,
and,
for sure, you need.
how do I know?
They're still
that?
better
Well,
off cow.
I don't know how
instead
you
of
know
trying
all
to
that,
do it
but
with,
I'll
like-
talk to you more about it
They
later.
got weird fertilizer. I used to be big into it back in the past, but it's
Well,
like,
what I'm saying though is that they can't ruin something that, like, you can't take that away from me. So I
Right.
can find spores, I can find the setup, I can find the way. There's a will. You know, and it's same thing with DMT. Guess what? You can make it illegal, but I'm gonna find a way.
Right.
You know, and but it's not. I think with the PTSD and the shit that they're saying happens with psilocybin, man, is basically as we grow older, human beings are gonna, like, it doesn't matter. All of us are gonna experience some sort of form of dementia, you know, at
Right.
some point, if we make it that far, you know.
Oh yeah. Eventually, you're gonna close your eyes and have those moments of truth or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, where you,
but they
but
might forget
when
them,
you're
where
leaving your
I know where
body,
you're
there's
getting at.
there's a transition. I mean, I don't.
I'm just saying with the psilocybin,
It's
they're
making
taking it
connections.
and they're building new pathways in the brain.
Right.
So if we're going by what they're saying, you know,
No, I believe
it's
it.
their psilocybin
The
is taking.
people, the dudes in Silicon, well,
Yeah,
men,
same-
men and
same
women
thing.
men and women in Silicon Valley.
Yeah,
Like
people.
microdosing's been a huge thing there since like the 90s.
yeah,
Mushrooms, LSD, capsules, like
Yeah.
microdosing. I mean,
dude, they're taking.
and you know,
eighths.
like but I mean, you know, like when you just hit that little, cross that threshold, how tuned in you are for that.
Well,
for that time
that's-
being, you're there.
That's the
And
premise.
you
of
can
the
figure
Grail.
anything out. Like I can look at that pillow and be like, okay, like, and it's not just like some stoner shit. It's
No,
not
no,
just-
no.
That's
It's literally like, okay, that pillow is based off this, and that goes back to this, and the Fibonacci sequence, and it all everything.
It's the presence of the Grail. Like that's what they.
All right,
the
so
Holy Grail was
let me
about,
ask
was,
you
like,
another.
achieving that
Let me
tone,
ask you guys
Exactly.
another question.
that vibration.
Why
in
is
a balance, and they do all they can with information and what they throw at us, keep that vibrational frequency and balance off.
And then
We've done like scientists have done tests, and frequencies, a vibrational frequency like never ends. That's why words are weapons. That saying, words are weapons.
Abracadabra.
Tell someone I hate you,
and they feel it.
We've never found an end to a vibrational frequency. We can't even track it. It goes into the universe.
Yeah.
You know what abracadabra stands for, right? I speak, therefore I am. Yeah.
Right. But my point is, like, if you really love someone, you'd almost rather have them punch you in the face if they're mad at you than say I hate you.
Right.
Because, that's there forever.
Yeah.
It's indelible.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why we practice a new name. At least us three.
For sure.
You know. But and we try to live by that, and it is what it is. We're all imperfect, you know, so unfortunately people say things and it's out in the universe and it is what it is. But then there's things like this that is going to be recorded and out there for fucking ever, dude. I love it.
I'm not but I kind of needed it probably. But
listen, I'm glad. I'm totally glad you guys fucking, you know, it was funny because Tommy, I'd hit Tom up about coming back on the show and he's like, dude, can we get Chap? And I was like, hell yeah, bro, let's fucking do it. It's a lot of fun.
Let's make it a thing.
3 like-minded individuals. Like, we have a lot of us. There's actually a lot of us in our group.
It's just, right now, it's always hard to get people together, but then when you have the COVID restrictions and all that, and makes it even harder. There's still people, myself included. I mean, I wouldn't run out to go with huge groups of people.
Yeah.
Because it just, with everything, the information out there, you can find whatever you want to fit your narrative. So it's kind of scary.
Oh, absolutely. Well, they could track it too. If you got your phone on you, they could say, "Oh, this person has COVID, and this person were near them." And
yeah,
for sure.
Dude, that's the next. You know, before chipping, like I guarantee you, that's next. Like,
well, they already. What was it? Google and
the cell phone's pretty much
Google.
a chip. It's just not in you. Yeah,
exactly.
People lose their mind. Where am I cell phone?
Yeah,
they lose their mind over it.
Oh yeah.
Well, Joe Evans said it the other day online, man. He was like, he's like, oh well, dude, we're kind of
Sev Static. Check him out.
Yeah, good dude, amazing dude.
One of the illest MCs out of the Albany area.
Joski's still waiting on his 16. On his 16 bars for
16. He ain't gonna get it.
No, he ain't.
Not from Sev.
Yeah, shit. Now I forgot what I was saying with that. Oh, he was saying online. He's like, oh well, you know, it's cool, dude. Like, cause he had posted something, and I was like, you know, next thing you know, it's gonna be chipping. You comment on it, and he's like, oh well, you know, it's kind of is what it is anyway, right? We got cell phones, and our bank accounts are linked to our cell phones. I'm like, look, dude, I don't keep bank accounts. I know you fucking on the up and up people do. Like, I mean, I'm on the up and up. I work on the books and shit. But at the same time, it's like, I don't trust any of that shit. And then like, I don't link my accounts.
I have a terrible spending problem. Because, you know, I'd rather have things than just a number that just disappears one day.
Exactly. Number on a computer.
Yeah.
But it's like, that doesn't really help me, like, you know, save to get land that I really want. That's
but even that can be taken away, Tommy.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's what sucks, dude, is nothing is fucking free anymore. There's nothing. We are not sovereign citizens. We fall under this umbrella of a fucking systematic fucking manipulation.
The entire world does. We've just been kind of fighting it a little bit harder than the rest of them. And it's like, you know.
Well, dude, there's been people in Europe that have been woke for a long time.
Oh, for sure. But even their half-baked wokeness, like, still points a finger at us like we're doing, like, some incredible wrongs over here for not giving into, like, socialism and stuff like that, which, like, in certain aspects, you know, it is what it is. But, like,
well, capitalism hasn't worked.
It's not like, not
I think the only thing that would ever work
parts
is
of it for sure.
Humanitarianism.
Yeah.
Well,
voluntarism.
What were we supposed to be originally? A democratic republic?
Yeah.
Says who? Definitely doesn't say that in the Declaration of Independence.
Well, that's what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be
Constitutional Republic.
Right.
You know?
We're a constitutional republic. And what's the famous Jefferson quote? Like, the democracy is 2 wolf and a sheep voting what's for dinner or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's crazy, bro.
They knew what it was, dude, because they were all philosophers on top of it. But that's what we've lost touch of, dude.
They were all blue bloods. They had money.
Well, that's what I mean.
Oh, for sure.
Exactly. And you're talking about dudes that still own human beings. So it's tough for
false
me.
idols.
Yeah, it's tough for me to get behind shit like that. And even with the Masons and stuff,
you can still take the good shit that they wrote.
Oh, absolutely.
Art is art, just as poetry is poetry.
Yeah,
just timeless. It's like,
yeah, listen,
I'm gonna have to think about Tom Hanks and
I mean,
all these other dudes.
The Constitution itself.
Yeah, you ain't watching no movies.
I mean,
everybody's
the Constitution
involved.
itself. How beautifully written of a document is that?
Oh yeah,
you know
absolutely.
What I mean?
That's why
it's unfortunate that the people who wrote it didn't believe the words that are in it.
Absolutely, but that doesn't mean that we can't because of how simple it was.
Well, I think that's why it was written so broad. It was for everyone else.
It was a humanitarian document, as far as I'm like going with you, and that's why I say it's like you need that involuntarism, because until people actually want to do right for others just for that sake, that's what wasn't it Krishnamurti that said really the most moral person is the moral atheist, just because they have no obligation to anybody to be good besides just for the inner purpose of being good.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of where I'm at, though. Is just if you can't be a good person just to be a good person, or if you need a God to tell you to be a good person, or you're not a good person. You're not a good person. It's
you might be trying a little bit more to be a decent person, but
no,
it might just be more. I'm just saying,
because I know,
the 12-step
programs personally,
and all that
I know
crap,
Christians. I know fucking Christians, dude, that they would literally they're racist as fuck. You know what I mean? Or Catholics that are super judgmental over LGBT.
Oh,
you know what I mean? There's no humanity in a belief system.
Right.
It's God tells me this, I have to interpret it how I interpret it, and then I have to act accordingly.
Not if you believe you're part of God and you can make those decisions on your own.
Well, yes, but that's not what the church teaches.
Right. I mean,
the church teaches you the same power structure bullshit that everybody else does.
The church also teaches you that where two or more are gathered in my name, you are a church.
Well, Jesus said
right now we're a church.
Well,
a congregation, because we don't really know what we're,
Well, no, we're the church of fucking nonsensical knowledge.
That's right,
motherfucker. This is.
But you
start the tithings any minute.
The actual word of Christ can be right up there with some of the most pure. It's not even King James did they didn't really change the word of Christ much. It's like they couldn't, you know what I mean? And if you just read that, in the book of Matthew and shit, there's some trippy shit with just his word.
The Bible goes so much deeper. I mean, people even, and I hate to say it because I'm not any type of scholar, but you really can't do any type of research on the Bible unless you have Strong's Concordance or something else where you can, if a verse intrigues you, you go to the concordance and you look it up and you see the original Hebrew and the original translation and things like that. If you're just going off the everyday Bible or the English translation or the King James Bible, you're not really getting the
You're fucked.
Yeah, you're getting the very watered down version of Christianity and Jesus and even the Old Testament and everything. Yeah. And that's my opinion. I mean,
well, it's not your opinion, dude, because there was a lot changed in the Council of Nicaea, bro.
Well, yeah,
there was a lot of shit changed and taken out of that Bible and then
books
added
were left
to
out.
it.
Well, for sure. But
look at the Book of Enoch, bro. There's no the Book of Enoch is not in the Bible. The Book of Mary, which is said to it exists in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Yeah, well, I'm figuring we're gonna wrap it up in a couple seconds anyway, dude. We've been going for 2 hours and 10 minutes. So,
all right.
We got a good one in.
Yeah, I keep going,
but
absolutely.
Just to finish this thought real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. But the Book of Enoch,
Part 2, coming with the ill Hebrew.
Well,
that's why,
and we're dropping a fire 16.
It's once you start getting into the esoteric, Hebrew and stuff, and the Kabbalah, and how the Old Testament's all broken down into all that, it's dope, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it changes everything if you really, and I mean, obviously, I don't know Hebrew, and
you sure?
Yeah, I don't, but I'm trusting.
I've been reading a bit, but I'm not
But like
a
you
scholar,
said, when you start to break it down like that, you get the concordance, Strong's Concordance, or something to read along with the Bible. It changes. It changes a lot. It really does.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The meaning of words. I mean, I'll give you a simple example of something in the Bible of Jesus. Jesus turned water into wine. You look that up in the Strong's Concordance in Hebrew, and it tells you that at the time there was only one grape. So he wasn't giving alcohol out to people to get fucked up.
Showing how to make grapes and
they had water, and he wanted to give them a treat. So he turned it to juice, like a great juice or like a punch or something. I mean, I'm taking artistic liberty or whatever here, but you know what I mean. I'm just giving an example. He didn't turn water into wine like, hey, go get fucked up.
It wasn't as fantastic as
back in the Concordant
Bible. He
Bible,
wasn't the first moving brewery.
And it even goes as far in the Strong's Concordant Bible to tell you that the word meant grape before it was fermented. So I mean, it even makes a point to tell you that it wasn't.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying in general, there's a lot of things that were changed in the Bible, right? So from we can all agree that from when Christ said the shit till now, shit got fucked up, right? We can agree.
Yeah, Constantine.
We can agree
That
for sure. You know what I mean? Well, on that note, guys, we're gonna get wrapped up. Dude, thanks for coming on, guys. Like, I mean, I still feel like we have hours and hours and hours and hours and hours to talk.
Yeah, we're
like,
gonna have to do another show.
Yo, listen, this is why we do it, because shit. We talked about so much shit in this episode, and it bounced all over the place, and it was super fucking intriguing. Anybody that's like us is gonna be like, "Wow, this is fucking awesome."
I hope so.
If they're not though,
they're gonna be like these fucking jerk offs.
Well, and then it's basically like a free
smoking weed, bouncing all over the place.
Well, it was, and I mean, it's basically like a freestyle event. I mean, we had an agenda, and we just kind of talked.
We hit all the points in the agenda. So once we really did that, I'm like, all right, it's on.
Yeah, except Hyperborea, which for anybody listening out there,
Giants Nephilim,
Google that shit. Hyperborea is a Greek mythology.
Well, not even just that. There are definitely some archaeological discoveries of
that support it. Yeah, I know.
Femur bones that are like 6 feet.
Yeah, giants, literal giants. And,
there were giants in those days.
And we'll get into this shit. You know what I mean? This is what it is.
But that also ties into me with like dinosaurs and all that stuff. Like a reptile will never stop growing.
Yeah.
So, we're going back to like the carbon stuff, but you add in more oxygen and this and that, and you're going to have some big lizards, and you're going to have some big humans, and you're going to have some big vegetation. More oxygen.
Yeah. Real quick. You guys know what Devil's Tower is?
Yes. It's like people think it might be a petrified tree.
Tree stump.
It's tree stump.
It's the monument out there.
It's a weathered stone in Arizona or something.
And it's
like
supposedly one of the oldest.
It looks like an old ass tree stump, like an old sequoia
tree
stump.
So do a little research, Jay, and it's like, I don't know. I've seen the theory, and I was like, damn,
it looks like a tree stump. I'll give him that.
Giant tree stump.
It does. It does look like a giant tree stump.
But in any event, we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna get the fuck up out of here. Thank you everybody for listening. Tommy, thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
Jay, thank you for coming. You guys are fucking very much appreciated. Everybody listen. I'll see you on the next episode. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Nonsensical Knowledge Podcast. Don't forget to support local music, art, and business. And while you're at it, if you're feeling like you need to get a haircut, stop over to Straight Razor Society Barbershop located at 99 Broad Street, Waterford, New York. My man Joe Kinney over there will take care of you and get you looking right. Check out the Facebook page at Straight Razor Society or call 518-321-6607 to schedule your appointment. Also, if you're looking to buy or sell a house, check out Venture Realty Solutions, the premier full-service real estate brokerage. Every step of the way, my dude Irv Ackerman is there to help you out. Get in touch on Facebook at Venture Realty Solutions. Yo, is your house dirty? Want to give your house, deck, or fence a good cleaning? Call First Choice Contracting to get it all pressure washed. These dudes are amazing. They do everything. Pressure washing, gutters, gutter cleaning. Give Steven a call at 518-860-9371 or stop by www.first-choice-gc.com. Also, if you have any mold or a property that needs to be cleaned or demoed, residential or commercial, call Clean Environmental Solutions at 518-417-2308 now for an estimate. Certified mold removal and property cleanouts. Thanks again for listening to this episode of the Nonsensical Knowledge Podcast. Be sure to stop by our YouTube page, like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page at Nonsensical Knowledge for more information, updates, and content.